Secondly, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put 2 dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Tamir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man to go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
It's me now. You're my truth now. Yeah. I'm here to speak and make it clear. I'm sorry, y'all, for all I've done. But I'm not the only one. In a dark place, I told some lies. But I'm not the only one. We all got secrets under the sun. In the shadows, we played the game. Now I'm standing here taking the blame. A lot of y'all was at the freak off too, so don't put it all on me. That's just the truth. I've been up and down this road trying to find my peace. Confessions of a man without a release. Oh, now, hey. In the mirror, I saw the truth hiding in plain view. I'm coming clean now, this burden to undo. We were all there dancing shadows in the night, acting wrong when we knew what was right. But deep inside, there's more you must see. In this room of mirrors, it's not just me. I walk this path with heavy chains, trying to shed those sins, erase the stains. I've seen the highs and the pushing low, fading in the spotlight. That's how it goes. Now I'm standing here, hard on my sleeve, trying to clear the air, let the demon, every wrong turn and every mistake,
led me to this moment to let my soul quake. Ways apart in the shadows deep, lost in the game. It's promises to keep.
Hello, Grand Rising, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, so let's get those likes up. Hello, Melanin A1, Nessie X, Political Wins is in the house. AJ Matthews is here. Above all that drama. Shout out to my moderators putting in work. I see you, Miss Evie. Okay, so hey, Donna. Shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, we know that last night, unfortunately for Diddy, he was arrested in New York, okay, in Manhattan. And before he was arrested, he was having the time of his life, walking and taking a stroll, taking selfies, taking pictures with fans and all of that. So for those of you who missed it, let me just go to this TikTok that I did, and then we'll get into the updates. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. So Diddy has finally been arrested. Let's get into it. And so before Diddy got busted, he was out strolling New York City, taking selfies, taking pictures with fans, just living his best life, him and his son, King Combs. Oh, but then when those federal agents from Homeland Security investigations, when they showed up, well, that's when things took a turn for the worst. Please pay attention. Now, a law enforcement source apparently told TMZ that Diddy's arrest was actually scheduled for Tuesday, but something happened to where they decided to push it forward and go ahead and catch him tonight. Now, I'm guaranteeing you that Diddy was more likely than not about to get up out of here. Okay, probably going to try to flee. Who knows? Whatever it was, they said they got to move quick. They can't wait for tomorrow because tomorrow may be too late. Please pay attention. Now, sources say that Homeland Security swooped down into a midtown hotel where Diddy was staying and then just snatched him up and arrested him. Okay, gave him those free silver bracelets, all right, and took him on in. Now, I'm sure this was much to his surprise because remember, he'd just been out, parading around town with his son, King Combs, signing autographs, taking selfies and pictures, and just living it up, as if he didn't have a care in the world. But little did he know, the feds, yes, they were absolutely on their way. And so I hope it was fun while it lasted. Honeycombs, okay, please pay attention. Now, unconfirmed reports say that they also searched the hotel room. Okay, and this, mind you, is all in connection to the allegations that happened or that occurred from the different lawsuits, specifically the one with Rodney Jones, aka Lil Rod, the allegations in some of those lawsuits. Let's not forget, that's what led to the raids on his residences back in March. And, the grand jury has spoken already with various accusers. And so all of this has been going on. And so at the end of the day, it's just, it's time for Diddy to get his just desserts. Okay, please pay attention. And also just remember that I predicted this, okay? At least more than a month ago, I said that Diddy was going to be indicted mid to late September. Okay, so please pay attention. That it was going to be mid to late September. Hold on. Let's just go back to that old video where I told you all that, honey. Y'all know so I can produce my receipts. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Hold on. With that all being said, after a grand jury is impaneled, it usually takes about 90 to 120 days, okay, for them to get the indictment. Now, sometimes it can take longer, okay? Sometimes it can take longer, but it's usually anywhere from 90 to 120 days. And let's not forget that the Queen went to school for criminal justice, so I have a very good knowledge of the law. Now, I'm not saying that's 100%, but I do believe that mid to late September is when we'll be hearing about Diddy's indictment. Okay, so please pay attention. Now, Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, gave a statement saying that we are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office. Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the Black community. He further stated, he is an imperfect person, but is not criminal. To his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. Well, I'll tell you what, that was an absolutely brilliant statement, okay, for public relations. All right. I mean, this is really a good PR job, is all I'm saying. Okay, please pay attention. That statement from his attorney could not have been worded better as far as I'm concerned. But at the end of the day, yes, Diddy will absolutely have his day in court. And that's what I want to see. I want to see what happens when he gets in court. I want to see what the witnesses, with his accusers, what some of his, in fact, co-conspirators have to say about themselves. Because remember, some of these people may, in fact, be unindicted co-conspirators, people who actively engaged in nefarious things, criminal things, which Diddy allegedly may have been doing. And so therefore, rather than indicting them, they may be giving testimony. So may have made some sort of deal or whatever. So I'm very interested in seeing what happens in court. Okay, I'm sure we all can't wait to see. So stay tuned. Well, bye, Diddy. Okay. All right. So thank you, Donna, beloved, for your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings to you. All right. Well, honey, it looks like it's all going down for Diddy. It's all going wrong. And, so he was supposed to be arrested on Tuesday. Okay. Now they're saying that he was supposed to turn himself in on Tuesday. His attorney said that he is disappointed. Maybe they're disappointed because Diddy got embarrassed and they came and scooped him up a day early. Now, but the question is, why? Did they come and get him a day early? If he was supposed to be arrested on Tuesday, why did they come and get him last night? Now, something had to have happened. And my guess is Diddy was planning something nefarious. Oh, maybe leaving the country, perhaps. I have questions. And here's the thing, I want you all to pay attention to how slick and sly Diddy thinks he is. So they said that he moved to New York. Okay, in the past week or so, he moved to New York because he expected this. He knew it was coming. Well, is that why Diddy was out here taking selfies and being all friendly to fans, and why we saw him hanging out on the corner just days ago with G Dep and all of that? Like he's back in the hood. Diddy's trying to win back favor because he knew this was all going down. He's trying to fix and remedy his public image and persona. That's what he was trying to do, trying to clear it up just a little bit, get a few more people on his side because he knew what was coming. That's why he's been out there kissing babies and all of that. I just want y'all to pay attention. He thinks he's so slick, but he's going to court this morning, and that indictment is going to, in fact, be unsealed. Okay, so we'll get into that in just a moment. But let's just take a look at some pictures of Diddy prior to the arrest, because he was living it up, honey. Please pay attention. He was having the time of his life, him and his nefarious son, King Combs. And why do I call him nefarious? Well, because he too has allegations of S assault. Okay, that's all I'm saying. And so, lights up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Hold on. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, so here we go. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Diddy before the arrest. Okay, let me share my screen so y'all can see what he was up to. Having a good old time. Claudette said, not those lips on babies. Yikes. Okay, can y'all see that? That's him and his son, King Combs, honey. They were living it up, like I said, honey, on a stroll. There they go, posing for the camera, talking to some fans. Just check them on out. Amazing that some people still want to be seen with him. Are they crazy?
Anything for a clout chase is all I can say. And there they go. Now, if you thought that was something, that was nothing. That's what he was doing, shortly before, like I said. But they also said that Diddy was pretty much hanging out at the park. Okay, here he is right here, sitting out there enjoying himself, living life like it's golden. That's what Diddy was doing, honey. Diddy was living life like it's golden, honey, not knowing that the free bracelets he was about to be gifted were on the way, honey. All right, already wrapped up with a bow. Pay attention. Now, see this right here? It says Sean Diddy Combs relaxes in Central Park and snaps selfies with fans in Manhattan before arrest in New York City as cops finally swoop on disgraced rapper amid SEX trafficking probe, honey. Said they swooped in, okay? Just want y'all to pay attention, honey. Diddy went down bad. Out there sitting amongst the good white folk. They don't even know what's about to go down for him. He probably tricked them into thinking he didn't do any of it. Ah, I want y'all to pay attention. Diddy is something else. Diddy is something else, honey. Now, with that all being said, hold on. Okay, honey, Diddy sitting out there amidst the white folks, honey, probably had them thinking that he didn't do anything, honey. They didn't know that the feds were about to swoop right on in and snatch him all the way up. Okay? Sitting out there like it's all so gravy. I mean, just pay attention. Yes, Corey said he is so fake. Exactly. He probably sitting up there with those white folks talking, yeah, y'all know how them Negroes be lying. Everything is just about a money grab. They all lying on me. I didn't do a thing. He was probably out there just telling all sorts of lies, honey. But anyway, I digress. And so Sean Diddy Combs was pictured kicking back in Central Park before walking the streets of New York with his son Christian Combs just hours before he was arrested in a Manhattan hotel room last night. The rapper, clad in a long black coat over a black t-shirt with gray sweatpants and gray sneakers, was seen flashing smiles and posing for selfies with several adoring fans. Not adoring fans. This is all so nefarious, but let me continue. With several adoring fans as he wandered the streets of Midtown Manhattan, seemingly unbothered by the looming. I can't even read this stuff with a straight face. Who wrote this? This is all nefarious. I want y'all to pay attention. Stacey said telling lies to people who don't care in the first place. Queen Sam said sucking up that freedom air before he goes in. No, but you all got to hear this. Why did they write it this way? They say, so anyway, it goes on to say that he was flashing smiles and posing for selfies with several adoring fans as he wandered the streets of Midtown Manhattan, seemingly unbothered by the looming arrest and ensuing legal woes. You cannot make this stuff up, honey. They are so low down. Now, Christian Combs, who's 26 years old, uh, who performs under the moniker King Combs, was clad in a plush gray sweatsuit with a gray t-shirt and white sneakers. Do they really have to give us a rundown on what they were wearing? And spent quality time with his father before the rapper was arrested by Homeland Security officials on Monday evening. Earlier in the day, a video shared on social media showed Diddy flicking through his phone and enjoying the sunshine as he sat in Central Park wearing a baggy black vest. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams said Diddy, age 54, was apprehended in connection with a Southern District of New York issued sealed indictment. But federal officials said they will ask a judge to unseal that indictment today. Honey, y'all know I'll be waiting because we're going to be right back on here as soon as they do. Now, Combs, also known as Diddy and Puff Daddy, has been in the limelight for most of the past year after he settled a lawsuit with his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in November of 2023, in which she claimed he engaged in sex trafficking and abused her. Now, a video of him attacking her in 2016 in a Los Angeles hotel room circulated this past May, leading him to say that he'd hit rock bottom and made no excuses for his inexcusable conduct depicted in the clip, adding that he takes full responsibility. responsibility. Mm, mm, mm. But you know something that I noticed when Diddy was in the park? I don't know if you all noticed it in that brief clip, but let me just show you some still shots. Because Diddy, I think he knew that the feds were coming any minute, but he was just hoping it wouldn't be that minute because he clearly kept looking over his shoulder. Okay, he was looking very concerned a couple of times. I just want y'all to pay attention. See there? Look at him looking over his shoulder, not knowing what to expect, what's about to go down. Clearly concerned in his eyes. Can you see? So yeah. I mean, like I told you all before, he can pretend to be unbothered all he wants, but he knew that the gavel was about to come down, and who could rest easy knowing that the feds are coming, of all people, honey? Because you know they have plenty of receipts and invoices. Make no mistake. Okay, they leave no stone unturned, is all I'm saying. Now, Combs was arrested by Homeland Security officials at a Midtown Manhattan hotel late Monday. Law enforcement sources told TMZ, and they say transported. He was transported to the feds or to the FBI's Manhattan field office. Authorities had planned on arresting Combs on Tuesday, but something happened that caused federal officials to take him into custody earlier than planned. Okay, this is what an official told the outlet. Singer and reality TV star Aubrey O'Day, Diddy's one-time protege, was one of the notable names to comment on the arrest. They say the purpose of justice is to provide an ending and allow us the space to create a new chapter. Okay, women never get this. I feel validated. This is what Aubrey O'Day said. Today is a win for women all over the world, not just me. Things are finally changing. Attorney Lisa Bloom, who's representing one of the people suing Combs, issued the following statement on Monday, saying, given the brutal beating of Sean Combs' girlfriend caught on video, the 8 people who have now accused him of abuse in court filings, including my brave client Dawn Richard, this arrest comes and it seems long overdue. It's a big moving day for victims, but an arrest is only the beginning. May justice be delivered to Mr. Combs. We implore other accusers to come forward in solidarity and join us in this fight. And it's a whole movement of people against Diddy. This is really, really so bad for him, honey. Now, Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, released a statement to the Daily Mail, which read, we are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office. Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the Black community. Honey, what part of the Black community is Mark Agnifilo talking about? What part of, or what segment is he talking about Diddy tried to uplift? The only thing Diddy uplifted was his pockets and his bank account. Okay, by way of bringing down Black people in the Black community. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's call a spade a spade. And remember the other day when they were talking about when Dawn Richard filed her lawsuit and she said that Diddy hissed at her when they got there to the place late because they were waiting on him to send a car, and he said, y'all bitches don't deserve a car. Catch a taxi. Remember that? And she said when they got there, he hissed at them. Now, you know, I wasn't surprised because Diddy is a snake. Absolutely. Okay. I mean, he can only hide his true colors for so long. Please pay attention. Now, his attorney goes on to say he is an imperfect person, but he is not a criminal. I don't know how he said that with a straight face. Please pay attention. Now, to his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Agnifilo added, please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. Well, if he was looking forward to clearing his name in court, why was he planning to skip the country? Because I think that's exactly what he was doing. And I think that's why they swooped in and got his arse last night. Because Diddy was about to be up out of here. Okay, he's not fooling me. Now, with that all being said, this is all crazy. They have all these social media posts, people going in. Look at Don Lemon. Diddy has been arrested. Okay, everybody's just going in on Diddy. Where are his friends now? Okay, Monday evening's indictment comes less than 6 months after the music mogul's homes in Los Angeles and Miami were raided by federal authorities March the 25th. Federal officials also conducted a thorough search of the hotel room in which they apprehended Combs. So he was locked up in his hotel room. Now, Combs then, and some people were saying, why was there no cameras and the perp walk and all of that stuff? Yeah, well, that's likely going to come out because I'm pretty sure that sooner than later, they'll be releasing the body cam footage. Okay, the hotel surveillance and stuff of that matter. But he was arrested inside of his hotel room, according to these reports. So Combs, then known as Puff Daddy, was at the center of the East Coast West Coast hip hop battles of the 90s as the partner and producer of the notorious B.I.G., excuse me, who was shot and killed in 1997. But like many of those who survived the era, his public image had softened with age in a genteel host of parties in Hollywood and the Hamptons, a fashion forward businessman and a doting father who spoiled his kids, some of whom lost their mother in 2018. Now, who wrote this? Because they're really trying to make this sound empathetic for Diddy. They're really trying to pull at people's heartstrings. I want you all to pay attention. They called him a doting father. Well, doting fathers don't put their children in harm's way and engage in acts of nefariousness that could cause humiliation and embarrassment publicly to said children. That's what they don't do. Okay, so let's not go there talking about a doting father, please. Okay, and so anyway, goes on to say, and then notice how they put in there some of whom lost their mother in 2018. Well, yeah, they did lose their mother in 2018, and quite possibly due to something that their father had done. Okay, allegedly. Now, but a different image began emerging in November when his former protege and girlfriend, the R&B singer Cassie, became the first of several people to sue him for sexual abuse, with stories of a steady stream of sex workers in drug-fueled settings where some of those involved were coerced or cajoled into sex. Not cajoled. Ooh, honey, this is all bad for Diddy, honey. They use words like cajoled. You already know, honey. Diddy's about to get a life sentence. Diddy is going all the way down. And look at all these clips they have in here. They're making sure we don't forget a thing. I want you all to pay attention. Let me just show you all this. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share, honey. Diddy is out bad, okay? This is all crazy. We haven't even gotten to the court yet. Hold on. Remember this? The agent seen on Diddy's Miami property? See that? Remember his sons being detained and handcuffed? Remember this part of the raid? Had somebody pressed all up against the wall? Let's not forget that. How he did Cassie. And then there's this with that old somber face trying to tell us that bullshit apology. Did it sit down somewhere, honey? Because none of your tricks have worked thus far. Miss Eva says, I feel nothing for him. He has destroyed his own people for money. Hashtag buy Diddy doodles. Yeah, he absolutely did. It absolutely is. We niggas said it's a distraction from the election, honey. A distraction from the election for who? For who, honey? Not for the queen. Trump Diddy Trump remix, okay? Honey, it's never a distraction for the queen. So let me tell you something. Like I keep telling you guys, it's only a distraction. Anything is only a distraction for people who are short, who have a short memory span, okay? And for people who are one-track minded, people who can't think of multiple things at once. That doesn't include me, beloved, because we're going to talk about Trump in a minute. At the end of this, I already got to tell y'all what the Secret Service is now saying. Please pay attention. So with that all being said, let's talk about his court appearance today. Sean Diddy Combs is arrested and the indictment is expected to be unsealed. Now, Sean Diddy Combs was expected to appear before a federal judge in New York on Tuesday after his indictment on undisclosed criminal charges. Now, the music mogul was arrested late Monday in Manhattan, roughly 6 months after federal authorities conducting an sex trafficking investigation raided his luxurious homes in Los Angeles and Miami. They go on to talk about over the past year how all these people have sued him with all these nefarious allegations and how his attorney, gave the statement, all of that, basically saying the same thing. But Diddy's due in court today, and so that indictment is supposed to be unsealed at some point. And I, for one, will be waiting, like I told you all. I'm going to be sitting right here waiting. Now, Tanya Blount from the War and Treaties says that she's appalled by Diddy's allegations. The singer was signed to Bad Boy Records in the 1990s, though her album with the company was never released. So the War and Treaties, Tanya Blount said uh, that she was shocked and appalled by Diddy's actions. Okay, goes on to say, she says Puffy was interesting because being with him was like, we didn't see this Puffy that people are talking about now. This is what she recalled during a new episode of Bunny XO's Dumb Blonde podcast. She said, we never saw him drink. We never saw him smoke. I never saw that guy. Being around him was like school because we were literally learning while training. She says everything has good and bad. I'm really appalled with the stuff I'm hearing about now. I had no protection too. I was young, but I had a manager. Or I'm sorry, she said I had protection too. I was young, but I had a manager who told me, no, you're not going to that party. Okay. I also had God protecting me from whatever was happening. The people who experienced it, I really feel bad for them. So her manager told her, you're not going to those parties. Okay. And she better be so glad. Now, in a devastating video obtained by CNN earlier this year and dated March 5th of 2016, Diddy appears to shove his longtime former partner Cassie Ventura to the ground near an elevator bank, kick her several times while she lies on the ground, and drag her down a hallway. The contents of the video mirror an assault allegation Ventura made in a now settled lawsuit that she filed against Diddy in November. Then we know about the fake apology and all of that. Whew. Mm. We niggas said stop being surprised. Honey, nobody's surprised at anything Diddy's done. Holly weird, what you expect. Exactly. Queen Sam said, what did her manager know? Probably knew about those FOs, beloveds. Probably knew about those FOs, okay? Oh, it's so crazy. Now let's talk about the timeline of events. Like up, everyone, please like and share. Let me have a word from my sponsor before I continue. Okay, here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so you can order your 12 Tribes at Etsy.com. Go to Lisa Crafts, and also you can order it on Walmart.com. Okay, so U.S. Attorney Damian Williams said that Diddy was apprehended in connection with a Southern District of New York issued sealed indictment, but federal officials said they will ask a judge to unseal the indictment today. So today, hopefully, we'll find out what exactly the charges are. Okay, because they're not giving up any information as of yet. I hope they unseal that indictment as they're requesting. Okay, and so with that all being said, and that pretty much sums it up. So due in court today, indictment to be unsealed, and this has got to be so, almost intoxicating for the victims, for all of the accusers. Okay? This has to be a lie for all of the accusers. Can you imagine these people who have been waiting all this time for justice, people who have been afraid to speak out for decades, who haven't said a word until recently after Cassie was the catalyst for all of this stuff coming down on Diddy? Like, I bet you Diddy almost can't even believe that it's happening to him. because he's such a narcissist. You know, he literally thought he would never get called to the carpet for his crimes. He thought he was going to get away with all of this. He thought he was so smart. He thought he had so much power and privilege and protection. Okay, little did he know when he filed that lawsuit with Diageo, that was the that was the one action that sealed his demise, that led to his undoing. Because had Diddy continued to play ball as he done for decades with these people like Clive Davis, Lucian Grange, okay, Ronald Burkle, all of this is alleged. But if he had continued to play ball with these people, he likely wouldn't be sitting where he's sitting right now. Okay, he likely would have continued to get away with everything that he's already gotten away with. All of these things. Let's not forget the whole thing with the shooting at the nightclub that Shine took the fall for. Then you have the incident with Tupac at the Quad Studios. And then you have the murder of Tupac and then the murder of Biggie, Kim Porter, Erica Kennedy, Dr. Ryan Frank, Dr. Ed Winter. You have all of these people's names tied to Diddy in one way or another, and not for anything good. Okay, now maybe he didn't have anything to do with all of these people that passed away, but it's real crazy that all these people had something to do with him when they were alive. Let's not forget Shakur Stewart, whom he threatened to kill, and then the man turns up dead. Okay, blowing up cars, you name it. Political win said domino effect. Absolutely. Heavy D says cosmic thoughts. Okay, Andre Harrell, Kim Porter. Like, this is all real crazy. Okay, this is all real crazy. At the end of the day, Diddy knew it was coming. He should have known if he didn't. The end of the day. You know, you have to ask yourself, let's look at some of these pictures they posted of Diddy in better times. This is Diddy in better times because now Diddy's going to be wearing that orange jumpsuit. Please pay attention. He's going to be wearing that orange jumpsuit, beloveds. Look at him right there holding up his little ward, dressed in red like the devil he is. Him and Justin Bieber. Look at him. Look like he was fresh out of Wakanda at the gala, at the Met Gala. I wonder what young Miami is thinking right about now, how she's feeling at the end of the day. Let's talk about a timeline of some of the key events. Okay. Starting with Cassie's lawsuit filed in November of 2023. Cassie said in the lawsuit that Diddy subjected her to years of abuse, including beatings and rape. Cassie, whose legal name is Cassandra Ventura, signed to Combs' label in 2005, and the two were on and off again romantic partners for more than a decade, starting in 2007. The lawsuit filed in federal court says that Diddy was prone to uncontrollable fits of rage and subjected her to savage beatings, as we all witnessed from that footage. Now, it says that he plied her with drugs, forced her to have sex with other men, and raped her in her home as she was trying to end the relationship in 2018. Diddy, through his attorney, vehemently denies these accusations. But let's not forget he settled in less than 24 hours. Settled in less than 24 hours. Now, November the 17th, 2023, with staggering speed, Ventura's lawsuit is settled the day after it's filed. The terms of the agreement are kept confidential. They say, we have decided to resolve this matter amicably. That's what Diddy said in a statement. And then he said, I wish Cassie and her family all the best love. Then November the 23rd of 2023, two more women accused Diddy of abuse in lawsuits filed on the eve of the expiration of the Adult Survivors Act, a New York law permitting victims, permitting victims of abuse a 1 year window to file civil action regardless of the statute of limitations. The lawsuits filed by Joy Dickerson and another woman who was not named allege acts of sexual assault, beatings, and forced drugging in the early 1990s by Diddy, then a talent director, a party promoter, and rising figure in New York City's hip hop community. Combs' attorneys call the allegations false. November the 28th of 2023, Diddy temporarily steps down as chairman of his cable television network Revolt because of the wave of assault and abuse allegations. It would be one of the several business setbacks for Diddy brought on by the lawsuits. Excuse me, I think I'm losing my voice. Now, With that all being said, December the 6th of 2023, a woman alleges in another lawsuit that in 2003, when she was only 17, Diddy and two other men raped her. The lawsuit filed in federal court in Manhattan says she was living in a Detroit suburb and was flown to a New York studio where she was given drugs and alcohol that made her incapable of consenting to sex, and the men took turns raping her. That same day, Diddy posted a statement on Instagram broadly denying all the allegations in the mounting series of suits, saying, "I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth." Find it all interesting. February the 26th of 2023, a music producer files a lawsuit alleging that Diddy sexually assaulted him and forced him to have sex parties with prostitutes. Okay, with prostitutes. The lawsuit gives a long list of potentially illegal activities dealing with drugs and sex that the producer says he witnessed. A lawyer for Diddy calls the allegations pure fiction. Well, one thing about it is pure fiction doesn't get you a federal indictment. Okay. March 25th of 2024, Homeland Security Investigation serves search warrants and early morning raids on Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami in what the officials tell the Associated Press is an sex trafficking investigation. Combs at one of his homes in Miami at the time. His two sons at his home in Los Angeles were handcuffed during the search. Diddy's attorneys say, and then officials did not say whether the raids were prompted by the civil lawsuits, but Diddy's attorneys say they believe they were. March the 26th of 2024. Diddy's lawyers call the raids a gross use of militarized level force and says Diddy is innocent and will continue to fight to clear his name. The attorney, Aaron Dyer, said there is no excuse for the excessive show of force and the hostility exhibited by authorities on the way his children and employees were treated. First of all, there were two grown men. They're not children, okay, at the end of the day. April the 4th of 2024, a lawsuit that names Diddy as co-defendant alleges that his son, Christian King Combs, assaulted a woman working on a yacht chartered by his father. The lawsuit filed in Los Angeles Superior Court says Sean Diddy Combs created the circumstances that led to the assault and paid to cover it up afterwards. An attorney for the two men calls the allegations outrageous. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. April the 26th of 2024. In the first major piece of legal pushback from Diddy and his team, they filed a motion to dismiss several elements of Dickerson's lawsuit because they were not illegal in 1991, where the alleged incidents occurred. Or when the alleged incidents occurred. Now, while the legal objections are procedural, the filing also slams the numerous false, offensive, and salacious accusations in the lawsuit. Then, May 10th of 2024, Diddy asked a federal judge to dismiss the December 6th lawsuit that was filed or that alleged that he and two co-defendants raped a 17-year-old girl from Michigan in a New York recording studio. Again, the objections are procedural, alleging the lawsuit was filed too late under the law, but the court document claims calls its claims false and hideous. May the 17th of 2024, CNN airs video that shows Diddy attacking Ventura in a hotel hallway in 2016. The video closely mirrors an assault described in her lawsuit, which said Diddy had already punched her that night, and she was trying to leave the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles when he woke up and came after her. In the footage, a man who appears to be Diddy, wearing only a towel, punches Ventura, kicks her, and throws her to the floor. The lawsuit alleges that Diddy paid $50,000 to take away the video at the time. Diddy's representatives had no immediate comment. I bet they didn't. The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office says it cannot prosecute Diddy for the attack shown in the video due to statute of limitations, noting that no case had been presented to prosecutors. May the 19th of 2024, Diddy posted a video on Instagram and Facebook apologizing for the assault on Cassie. It's the first real acknowledgement of wrongdoing since the recent stream of allegations began, saying my behavior on the video is inexcusable. We already know the spill. June 10th of 2024, at the request of the New York Mayor Eric Adams, Diddy returns a key to the city. Adams sent letters to Diddy rescinding the honor as part of the fallout of the leak of the video of Cassie being beaten. Adams says that he was deeply disturbed by the video. Adams awarded Diddy with the key at a ceremony in 2023. A day earlier, Howard University announced it had rescinded an honorary degree given to Diddy and disbanded a scholarship program in his name. August 26th of 2024, as part of a multifaceted pushback against the lawsuits filed against him, Diddy asked a federal judge to throw out the February lawsuit from the music producer. His lawyers say the suit was overrun with tall tales, lurid theatrics, legally meaningless allegations, and blatant falsehoods, whose intent is only to generate media hype and exploit it to extract a settlement. September the 11th of 2024, Diddy is sued by singer Dawn Richard in a case describing years of psychological and physical abuse, including groping that she says she suffered as he helped launch her career. Now, Richard, a member of the girl group Danny Kane and is well known for appearing on the MTV reality show Making the Band, alleges in the suit that she witnessed Diddy abuse Cassie and was afraid of the mogul. Diddy's representatives accused Dawn Richard of making an attempt to rewrite history by manufacturing a series of false claims, all in the hopes of trying to get a payday, conveniently timed to coincide with her album release and press tour. So, this is the funniest thing about it all to me. They really want to act like Dawn Richard just made all this stuff up for a press release for her new album. Like, that would not be a good look. I'm sorry. That would not be a good look. Okay. At the end of the day, who wants that to precede them? So, September the 16th, Combs is arrested on a Monday night in New York after a grand jury indictment. No details on the charges were made public, but federal officials say they will ask a judge to unseal the indictment a day later. Combs' attorneys calls it was an unjust prosecution of an imperfect person who is not a criminal. Said he is not a criminal, y'all. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. Hey, support the arts. Don't you come in here with that Kabami stuff today. We're not trying to hear it. Okay, we are not trying to hear it. Now, let us hear. I'm just wondering. Let's hear what the Breakfast Club had to say about Diddy. Did they give him the donkey of the day? I have questions. I have questions. Hold on, beloveds. Okay, here we go. Everyone, please get the likes up. Remember, it doesn't cost you a single thing. Okay, here they go. Let me just pull this up. Now, I'm going to play the audio. My ear. All right, so let's get ready to listen to what the Breakfast Club had to say, honey. Are they going in or what? I have questions. Okay, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Thought I had an overlay of Diddy. Oh, yes, I do. Okay, so I'm going to put an overlay on the screen and then play this. All right, here we go.
Guys, so last night, September 16th, Diddy was taken into custody in New York. He was taken into federal custody in New York. Now, reports state that he was taken into custody inside of his hotel lobby. That I have not confirmed, like the actual location of where he was taken into custody, but I have confirmed that he was taken into custody. Now, I reached out to Diddy's team, but I also reached out to the Fed. So the Southern District of New York is who is handling this case and this indictment. In the statement that they issued, they said earlier this evening, federal agents arrested Sean Combs based on a sealed indictment filed by the Southern District of New York. We expect to move to unseal the indictment this morning, and we'll have more to say at that time. Now, in addition, so this statement kind of painted a little bit of a picture. Like, it number wanted to confirm that he had been arrested, not just because you can say taken into custody in the normal person will have a question like, does that mean he was arrested? Is he just been taken in because they have some questions? Like, what's happening? So the fact that they confirmed he was arrested means that they are going to move forward with something.
He probably turned himself in. That's why you didn't see no pictures of him doing that walk.
Well, yeah. So I'm on my way to that. So they use the term arrested, which is that elevates it all the way. And then there were reports that came out that Diddy had been in New York for this past week because he was supposed to arrange to turn himself in. That, according to reports, was supposed to happen Tuesday. So that was supposed to actually happen today. But there are reports that something happened. Law enforcement actually told TMZ that something happened that made them expedite and come a day sooner. So I don't know what that something was. I've been asking that question for a very long time, but I was told that basically there'll be more information this morning once everything was unsealed. I did reach out to Diddy's team, and his attorney sent me a statement. He said, "We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office. Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon."
Now, I want you all to pay attention to something. Is it just me, or is she sitting up here lying and clout chasing? I want you all to pay attention. Now, please tell me if you all noticed that as she's discussing Diddy's arrest, she says that she reached out to the feds and they sent her a statement. And then she proceeds to read the statement, which is the same information that was in all the articles. Okay. Then she says that she reached out to his attorneys and they sent her a statement. And now she's reading the same statement that is in all these articles. Girl, will you please stop clout chasing? Okay, she's reaching out to the feds and they're giving her information. Honey, who are you? Just to stand in for just hilarious, okay? Like sit down somewhere. The feds didn't tell you shite, and neither did his attorneys, okay? She's reading the same articles everyone else is reading, is all I'm saying, and trying to act like she's all big and bad. Oh, yeah, I reached out to the feds and they said this and they sent me this. As if the feds stopped what the hell they were doing and just literally emailed her information per her request. I want y'all to pay attention, honey. Y'all see why I don't fool with the Breakfast Club? Y'all see why I don't fool with the Breakfast Club? Okay, our Negroes official said, "Where's Jess? Probably has delivered that baby. You know, she was pregnant. She's probably on maternity leave, I would assume." But y'all see this foolishness. Now, the reason I wanted to hear what they had to say is because the Breakfast Club was caping so hard for Diddy in the beginning. When Diddy first was getting accused, they were caping so hard for Diddy. Do you all notice how the Breakfast Club is always on the wrong side of things? Do you all notice that? But let's continue. Let us continue. I just wanted to make sure you all were paying attention. She said that the lawyers sent her a statement. Girl, that's the same statement everybody's pulled up online at this point. Please stop flossing so hard. Okay?
Entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the Black community. He is an imperfect person, but he is not a criminal. To his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the facts of an innocent man with nothing to hide. I'm sorry, these are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. Now, this statement told me a lot. First of all, the fact that they started with "we are disappointed," that said to me that there was some sort of conversation over these last weeks, 2 weeks, however long, between Diddy's legal team and the prosecutor's office, and whatever that arrangement was, right? Because if you think back to like even Harvey Weinstein turned himself in, and we had known in the news which day he was turning himself in. So this statement from Diddy's attorney leads me to believe that whatever that agreement was, it wasn't honored. But again, there are reports that Diddy was supposed to be allowed to turn himself in on Tuesday, but the feds moved in early.
Yeah, if you got arrested in a hotel lobby, I feel like there'd be pictures and video.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't confirmed the hotel lobby thing, but there are no photos, there are no videos, but those reports are out there. But to back up those reports, there is a confirmed source, police source, that told TMZ that they did actually move in early. Now, another thing that was telling in this statement to me was the fact that they're painting this like character picture of him. It's like Diddy, who is the loving father, that, you know, this man in the Black community, all that stuff. And if you think about the last week or two, we've seen Diddy out in New York. We didn't know why he was here, but we've seen him out in New York. What do we see him doing? He's smiling. He's taking photos with fans. He's throwing up the L for love. I know, I think it was yesterday or the day before, he was out at Melba's with the whole family. They're standing outside doing family photos. So to me, me, if I'm looking at this, I'm like, if you're someone who knows that this is coming, this all goes to you when you want to keep up the character. You want people to see you in.
And that's exactly what I said. Diddy is not fooling anyone. Sunset Nights has gifted the channel a membership. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. Okay, I appreciate you. So this is all crazy, honey. This is all nefarious. James says he did uplift no black communities. He took and stole from his artists. Yeah, he sure didn't uplift the black community, honey. That's all he did was enrich himself based off of the talent of numerous other black people. And that's exactly what he did. Okay. Queen Sam said Diddy's cleaning up that bucket list. Okay. This is exactly what he's doing. And this is all crazy. This is all crazy. But let's see what else they say.
Like anytime you hear RICO, once this information is unsealed, and I'm hoping I can get this before we're done the show. If not, we'll have it up on Brown Girl Grinding, and then we'll bring it back here the following morning. But the evidence, we should soon get a look into what they found when they ran into these houses, the people that they've been talking to. It's been reports that Cassie has been cooperating with the federal case, and all of this is over a matter of 7 or 8 months. The first accusation from Cassie was November 16th. We're now in September.
Okay, we already know the rest. I just wanted to hear their take on it and see if they were going to try to still be caping for him as they have been known to do. Now, with that all being said, I'm waiting for the updates with this indictment being unsealed. I absolutely cannot wait to see exactly what all charges they got him on. Hold on. Here's a report that started. I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share, honey. Diddy is going down.
In New York City as he's expected to be arraigned this morning. Eyewitness News reporter Irene Cruz here in studio with the latest. Irene.
Yeah, Rachel, this case marks one of the biggest takedowns of one of the most prominent producers in hip hop history. Sean Diddy Combs will face a judge today and learn the charges against him at that arraignment. The hip hop mogul faces a number of sexual assault allegations. He was arrested at a Manhattan hotel lobby late last night. He's been indicted by a federal grand jury. The allegations of sexual assault, physical violence, and human trafficking have been piling up over the last few months. Combs has denied these claims, but did apologize after footage surfaced in the spring. The graphic video showing Combs assaulting then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. Now, back in March, Homeland Security raided his homes in LA and Miami at the same time. Investigators seized electronics. Combs has been in a number of civil suits since the early 1990s, and ABC News now weighing in on this federal case.
We know that when they raided his homes, they were looking for electronic evidence. According to many of the plaintiffs in the civil lawsuits, allegations he denies, but he kept extensive records in the form of video that while these things were going on, he was recording with his phone.
Combs' lawyer has responded in a statement saying, in part, he is an imperfect person, but he is not a criminal. To his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Now, federal prosecutors will move to unseal the indictment today, and we are expecting to hear more from them at that time.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe.
Okay. So with that all being said, that indictment is definitely going to be unsealed today. Diddy is being arraigned, honey. He's going to face the music. He will find out what the charges are against him. And, there's going to likely be a press conference, okay? There's going to definitely be a press conference today telling us a little something about what's going on here, okay, with the attorneys speaking, the prosecutors, and all of that. So look forward to the press conference first and foremost. Because we already know, I'm predicting right now there's going to be a press conference today. And so we're going to listen to that as soon as it happens. Okay, Alice said, toast to Diddy, toast of Ciroc. Jeremiah said, hey, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, Queen was right about Diddy Diddler. Thank you, beloved. Okay, yeah, I told you guys mid to late September, I was exactly right on the mark. Okay. I was right on the mark because that is exactly the middle of September when they got his art, September the 16th. Okay. So 3 days after the 28-year anniversary of the death of Tupac, I want y'all to pay attention. Okay. This is poetic justice as far as I'm concerned. Okay. It would have been so much more juicier and insidious if they had arrested him on the 13th, okay, of September. But please pay attention. Pamela said, time to pay the piper. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm gonna have to get OG Patrice on here today. At some point, I'm gonna have to get OG Patrice on here. Uh so we can just get this all sorted out because this is all so crazy. This is all so crazy. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now hold on for a second. Hold on, beloveds. I'm trying to see what's going on with this YSL trial with Young Thug. Okay, because that's going to be viewed live or posted live today. Queen, you are a sight to behold. You give good news. You give news good. Thank you, support the arts, beloved. Thank you. I appreciate you. Raphael said Jay-Z is next. Yes, he absolutely is. Speaking of Jay-Z, let's talk about him because Eve came out. Eve, the rapper, came out and said something about Jay-Z. It's supposed to be in her book too. Jay-Z's a whole hater. Okay. Hold on. Let me pull. I'm glad you brought up Jay-Z. Here it is right here. Now listen to this. Jay-Z warned Eve that female rappers don't do well after the release of her debut album. Okay, what a party pooper. Sounds like he was hating to me. Okay, so Eve is about to release her memoir, Who's That Girl? So she's been looking backwards in interviews, including a long ago conversation with Jay-Z. So in an interview with the London newspaper, The Times, Eve recalled that on the very day her 1999 debut album, Let There Be Eve, Rough Riders, First Lady dropped, she received a congratulatory call from Hope. However, she told the paper that the message came with a warning. She remembers Jay saying that she shouldn't get her hopes up because female MCs don't really do that well. I mean, does that sound like a whole hater or what? You're going to call somebody and act like you're giving them a congratulations, like you're happy for them, then to only throw a whole thing of salt? Yeah, that's what it said. Now, the project sold 213,000 copies in its first week and eventually went double platinum. Okay, she showed him. And so, in more contemporary Eve news, she's headed back to school with the rapper actress set to share her career experiences as the 24-25 scholar in residence at NYU Steinhardt School of Culture, Education, and Human Development. Okay, well, good for her. Shout out to Eve. But y'all see that Jay-Z has been a hater. And he probably would have tried to get her blackballed if he had a reason or a chance. Okay, we already know how many careers that he's allegedly ruined and blackballed. Okay. He was an op of Rough Riders, LOL. Yeah, because he was hating on DMX. Exactly. He was very envious of DMX. That is just the fact. All right. That's not no allege. That's the fact. He was jealous of DMX. Okay. And so, anyway, with that all being said, the nefariousness continues. Now, let's talk about what the Secret Service said about Trump. And I want you all to pay attention to something. Y'all know, really, as I think about it, I'm a whole oracle. Now, somebody called me that in the chat yesterday, and I was thinking, I'm not really an oracle, but I guess I am. Seeing as how two events that I predicted literally are in the news trending right now. I need y'all to pay attention. Okay, I had two dreams of Trump being assassinated. There have been two attempts of assassinations on Trump. And then I predicted Diddy would go down mid to late September, and here we are, and he did. So I just want you all to pay attention. So y'all need to listen when the queen be talking, okay? Anybody can get inside information when people say, oh, I predicted this, I predicted that, but you also said that an insider told you. That's not a prediction. That's just you getting information beforehand because somebody inside the loop told you. But when you literally have prophetic gifts and spiritual gifts that you know how to use, and you're a spiritual being, you see, you have these premonitions. Okay. With that all being said, Mystery Singer said, "You're clairvoyant." Thank you, beloved. Yes, I absolutely am. And clairaudient as well. Okay, I just want y'all to pay attention. Now, with that all being said, if you're not following the Queen's Spiritual Channel, you should be following the Queen's Spiritual Channel. It's all I'm saying. Okay, so you can enhance your spiritual gifts. All right, because I really believe that we all have them. Some people just aren't tuned into them. Okay, as I am. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because here's what they're saying about Trump. Secret Service chief says agency needs change. Okay, they say agency needs change. Well, they sure do, according to the Queen, because I already told you all that I think they had something, if not everything, to do with it. So the U.S. Secret Service needs a paradigm shift. Okay, the agency's acting director said this a day after an apparent attempt on Donald Trump's life, the second one in just 2 months. Now, the comments from Ronald Rowe are a remarkable admission that the 160-year-old agency, which has been under scrutiny since a gunman managed to fire several rounds at Trump at a Pennsylvania rally in July, striking the former president's ear. So they've been under intense scrutiny. And I want you all to pay attention because, like I pointed out to you yesterday, why is it that that man, okay, Ryan Wesley, what's his last name? The shooter, okay, why is it that Ryan Wesley Routh, why is it that he knew that Trump was going to be on that golf course that day? How did he get the itinerary? How did he know where to be and to wait? Because he lay in wait for Trump. Okay, that's what he did. This was premeditated. He was plotting this. Okay, so how did he know Trump was going to be there? That's for number one. Okay, somebody told him something. That was an inside job. That's just my opinion. That's the only thing that makes sense. Okay, now the suspected gunman arrested in Florida on Sunday, Ryan Wesley Routh, made a court appearance yesterday on charges of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. Routh has not been charged with trying to kill Trump. Why not? How is that making any sense? Now that sounds sketchy within itself. He has not been charged with trying to kill Trump. Why not? And here's the thing. Now they say the Secret Service fired at this man about 3 or 4 times and they didn't hit him. Y'all don't find that suspicious? Because I would think, I'm no expert in this field, but I would just think that if you are a Secret Service agent, that you would have to be very good at shooting. You would have to be someone who has had immense hours and intense training in target practice. So how did they shoot this man many, many times and just missed every single time? You should be asking yourselves, folks. Now, in a self-published book, Routh said that he voted for Trump in 2016 and came to regret it after the U.S. withdrew from the Iran nuclear deal in 2018. Now, Congress is considering boosting Secret Service funding. One possibility would be to attach emergency funding to a short-term funding bill that Congress must pass by September the 30th to avert a government shutdown. But some lawmakers, including a close Trump ally, are adamant that the agency doesn't need any more money. Okay, well, they don't need any more money. They just need some new people. They need a whole overhaul. Now, the Secret Service has dramatically increased Trump's security since the July 13th shooting, including more people and more technology. Yesterday, the Trump campaign asked for even more increased security, according to 2 sources. Okay. Now they say body cam video shows Routh being taken into custody. Trump and his running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, ignored appeals for unity and claimed that rhetoric used by Democrats is responsible for threats and violence against the former president. Elon Musk said that he said his now deleted post on X talked about how no one is even trying to assassinate President Joe Biden or Vice President Kamala. He said that was intended as a joke. How is that funny? He knew what he was doing. That wasn't no darn joke. No one's even trying to assassinate President Joe Biden or Vice President Kamala. First of all, anybody being assassinated is not funny to me. So why would he think that's a joke? Sit down somewhere, Elon Musk, with your devilish self. Okay, Elon Musk, in my opinion, is akin to Bill Gates. And you know what we say about him. Now, a federal indictment for Sean Diddy Combs is expected to be unsealed. Now, how they go from Trump to Diddy? I want y'all to pay attention. This is all nefarious. A federal indictment for Sean Diddy Combs is expected to be unsealed this morning after the arrest of the rapper turned music mogul yesterday in New York. Okay, so they're putting Diddy and Trump together. I want y'all to pay attention. 2 of the biggest narcissists and liars in history, as far as I'm concerned. All Negroes official says Elon has a point, though. All Negroes official, do you remember back in 2021, beloved, when me and you were talking, you were in the chat and we brought up Cassie and you said Cassie is going to snitch on Diddy. Do you remember that? And I agreed. I said absolutely. You said Cassie is going to expose Diddy. Do y'all remember that conversation that me and Odd Negroes officials had in 2021? Okay, because we knew years ago that Cassie was going to be the one to expose Diddy for a film. And that's exactly what happened. Okay? That's exactly what happened. The Reverend Magazine said, why haven't we heard from Peter? Okay. Reggie said, what a time to be alive. This is all so nefarious. It absolutely is, beloved. It absolutely is. Now, before I roll up out of here, let me just check real quick and make sure there's no further updates. Hold on. And then, we're going to switch over. We're going to switch over for a second to the YSL trial because that's just starting back up. Okay, here it is right here. Live. I said, uh-oh, hold on. Hold on, beloveds. We're about to sit here and wait for this, honey, because Dan says, do you think Trump could be setting all this up? No, I don't. Thanks for the contribution and insight in your question, beloved. No, I don't. No, I don't. Only Kabami apologists would be thinking that, Dan. So you just told on yourself. Okay. Only Kabami apologists. What I think is the Secret Service is setting this up. Okay, not Trump. How would he set it up? No, I think the Secret Service is setting this all up. Okay, because they're in cahoots with whoever wants Trump up out of here. That's my opinion. Now let's go to this because they're setting up shop outside of New York court following Sean Diddy Combs' arrest and federal indictment. So what are they waiting on, honey? Because it's all juicy. This is all juicy. What is about to go down, honey? They must have the scoop. Reggie said Cassie is the lynch in this whole case. All right. Tanya said, why would Trump set that up? Exactly. So he can get shot in his darn ear. They almost got him in the head. They almost got him in the head. And here's the thing. We should know Trump didn't set it up because, first of all, there was 2 other incidents where people were caught. They didn't even widely report that. But the Pakistani national and then that 60-something-year-old man, they both had also plotted to try to take Trump out, but they just didn't get their chance because they were exposed beforehand. Reggie said, I feel like something is going to pop and we all going to be shocked again. Honey, I hope not. I don't need any more surprises. Please pay attention. Woo. Come on, Diddy, what you hiding? While we're waiting on this, let's go to the YSL trial, honey. Let's go and see what's going on with that. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Now, I'm gonna keep my eye on it because we got to find out what's going on as soon as Diddy gets into that courtroom.
Detective Shakur. All right.
I swear. Yes, sir. Detective J. Thorpe Jr., Thorpe. Jim.
Good morning, Detective Thorpe.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you?
Fine.
Good. Detective Thorpe, would you please introduce yourself to the jury by telling them where it is you currently work?
Yes, ma'am. Detective Jim Thorpe Jr., City of Atlanta.
Hang on just a second. You're gonna have to use the mic, Miss Love. Can you hear the witness?
Yes.
All right.
All right, if everyone can hear me and can stand the static, I'm gonna use this one. Thank you. Would you, go ahead, I apologize. Tell the jury where it is that you currently work.
Yes, ma'am. I currently work City of Atlanta Police Department Homicide Unit.
How long have you worked at the City of Atlanta Police Department in the homicide?
I work with the City of Atlanta now for 30 years and 9 months.
All right. Have you worked as a homicide detective the entire time?
Yes, ma'am, 20 years.
Now, 30 years and 9 months and 20 years are different. So what did you do when you first started working with the Atlanta Police Department?
My first assignment.
They cannot hear you if you don't use the mic, and I'm sorry that it's staticky. Maybe one day we could get that fixed also, but we're just gonna have to endure the static.
Yes, Your Honor. Try to minimize it. What did you do when you first started working with the Atlanta Police Department?
Yes, ma'am. The first assignment was the Atlanta Police Zone 3 Precinct Evening Watch Mobile Patrol.
That would have been in what year that you started that?
I started Mobile Patrol in 95.
What types of activities did you conduct as a Zone 3 Evening Watch Mobile Patrol officer?
Answering 911 calls, dealing with all types of calls of accidents, suspicious persons, shootings, robberies, burglaries, car thefts.
Okay. There we go.
Yes, ma'am.
And tell the jury what parts of Zone 3 you patrolled as a patrolman in Zone 3 Evening Watch.
Then the beat I was assigned was called 304, and that beat was mostly around Metropolitan Parkway, Sylvan Road, leading up to Cleveland Avenue and Lakewood Avenue.
How much of Cleveland Avenue did you patrol?
It would depend on if we were short an officer, they would reposition my team. It was 2 officers assigned to the beat 304. So either one of us could get pulled, and usually around Cleveland Avenue, that was the 308 beat. And we pretty much control all of Cleveland, 75, 85, north and south, Jonesboro Road, and all the streets surrounding Old Hayville and streets like that.
Okay. As a homicide detective, are you restricted to one zone only, or do you work the entire city of Atlanta?
We work the entire city of Atlanta.
Are you familiar with the neighborhood surrounding Cleveland Avenue and including Cleveland Avenue today?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell the jury whether it's different, the same, or in some ways both to 95 as between today and then?
Sustained.
All right. How do you describe the neighborhood of Cleveland Avenue back in 1995? How would you describe it in terms of the community?
Community, like a better terminology, wasn't aggressive. That part of the Cleveland Avenue really was not a high crime area or gang activity respondent back in 95 to 97.
And that was the length of time that you worked evening patrol, 95 to 97?
Yes, ma'am.
And typically, what types of crimes did you have the most opportunity to respond to in that area?
Your Honor, relevance.
Overruled.
Mostly shootings, like I said, robberies, burglaries, things of that nature.
Would you describe for the jury your, you mentioned there was not a lot of particular kind of activity. Did that change? Has that changed today?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a particular kind of crime that you see more of today that you did not see back in 95?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you tell the jury what types those are?
Mostly gang activity shootings, related shootings.
Now, after you left Evening Watch Patrol of Zone 3, what station did you take up at APD?
Yes, ma'am. I was transferred to the Red Dog Unit, Evening Watch and Day Watch.
How long did you work the Red Dog unit?
About 3 to 4 years.
Now, after the Red Dog unit, what was your assignment?
I was promoted from the Red Dog Unit to a detective, and my first assignment was the burglary unit.
And what year was that?
2000. 2000, yes, ma'am.
Prior to joining the Atlanta Police Department, would you tell the jury what your education was?
Yes, ma'am. Graduated high school on time, associate's degree, and at that time I went into the military, U.S. Army.
How long did you serve in the Army?
Roughly about 6 years.
And what was your station? What was your job in the Army? Without getting into too much detail, just generally speaking.
Soldier.
Okay. Are you originally from Atlanta?
No, ma'am.
Did you come to Atlanta after you left the Army?
No, ma'am. I was here.
Okay. After you joined the burglary unit, tell the jury what your responsibilities included.
Investigating burglaries, whether it was commercial or residential burglaries.
Was there a particular area of Atlanta you were responsible for?
Yes, ma'am. My primary zone was the Zone 1, and my secondary was Zone 3.
What area of Zone 1 were you responsible for? I'm sorry about that static.
That's fine. We believe if anyone's familiar with the Bluff area, Donnelly, Hollowell, Hollywood Road, everything over in that generally Perry Boulevard.
Hang on one second. I'm trying to solve this problem. That's pretty constant. Sorry about that. And how long did you serve in the burglary unit?
2 years.
After the burglary unit, what did you do?
I was transferred to the robbery unit.
Is that me, Judge, or is that?
I have no idea.
All right. After what was your position with the robbery unit?
Detective, and my primary zone was Zone 3. The secondary zone was Zone 1.
Were you patrolling the same or responsible for the same area in the robbery unit as you had been when you were in a Zone 3 evening watch patrol officer?
Yes, ma'am. So I had the whole entire zone.
Okay.
I mean, yes, the whole entire zone,
Right.
A sector and B sector.
Did you interact often with the residents of Zone 3?
Yes.
During your time as a patrol officer and as a detective in the robbery unit?
Yes, ma'am.
Was your interaction only when you were arresting people or investigating suspects?
No, ma'am.
What other types of interactions did you have?
At that time, I was also working at part-time as an Atlanta Public School resource officer. And the school I was assigned was the Crawford Long Middle School, which is right off of Cleveland Avenue.
Would you tell the jury what years those were that you worked as a Crawford Long Middle School resource officer?
I would say it'd be from 2001 to 2012, 2013.
And what were your responsibilities as a resource officer with Crawford Long?
Primarily maintaining the safety and security of the school, walking around, patrolling the grounds, make sure the teachers' cars or anyone visiting school wasn't cars were getting broken in, things of that nature.
Did you have interaction with the students outside of investigating car break-ins and the like?
Yes, ma'am.
And would you describe for the jury what types of interactions that you'd have with the students at Crawford Long Middle School? Your Honor, as it pertains to particular people that are involved in this case, his knowledge of them and the jury's awareness of his foundation.
His attention to that.
Did you interact with the court's indulgence? I'd just like to ask a broader question and narrow it down. I won't prolong that. Did you interact with the students and converse with them on a personal level?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you interact with the students' parents at times?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you interact with a student by the name of CoverageRICO?
Yes, ma'am.
Describe your, when you first met CoverageRICO, how old was he?
I say he'd be about 11 years old.
And in what capacity did you interact with him? Was it?
Usually times when he was misbehaving, and I would just take him to the side and talk to him rather than seeing him being suspended or suffering school punishment. I try to talk the kids to the side, get them out of trouble, and once again, put them back into the classroom.
What year was that you got to meet CoverageRICO?
Can I recall right offhand? Probably around 2010, maybe.
Did you establish any level of trust with the students? Would they come to you and talk with you about things that they were encountering?
Yes, ma'am.
As students?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you say you talked to them, did you talk with them only about scholastic things, or did you talk with them about things like getting involved with groups that they shouldn't get involved with?
Yes, ma'am. All of the above. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Back then in 2010, did you see any signs of what you believe to be the formation of gang activity within Crawford Long?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, what was it that you saw that led you to believe that?
The kids was constantly discussing the gang that was starting to sprout. They was calling themselves the Red Cartel.
No, I heard you, and it looks like Mr. Short's also about to say something.
Same objection.
Thing. Overruled.
You may continue.
Yes, they would say something about a gang sprouting up called the Red Cartel.
You may continue.
Okay. They call themselves the Red Cartel, and they were becoming very prominent over in the Cleveland, Springdale, Cleveland Avenue area, Old Hateville area, Macon Drive area.
Apart from hearing the name Red Cartel, did you see any indicators or signs of the ways that people calling themselves Red Cartel identify themselves?
They would mostly wear the color red.
Did you ever see them, without specifically showing any gang signs, did you ever see them display any signals that were seemingly unique to members of the group itself?
No.
I'm going to object to this line of questioning. I don't believe that there's a proper foundation for this witness.
Your Honor,
Is this the first time this witness has testified?
Yes.
Okay, you need to lay a foundation.
Okay.
Sustained.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. When you started out as a school resource officer at Crawford Long Middle School, would you describe for the jury what type of training that you had with the Atlanta Police Department?
Had basic academy training, along with interviews, interrogation training, also burglary and robbery. And later during that tenure, I was transferred to the homicide unit, which I received numerous homicide classes and training.
What training or experience did you have that caused you to form or to believe that you recognized gang activity when you saw it at Crawford Long Middle School?
Basically just growing up. I was prominent in Chicago.
You're from Chicago?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What part of Chicago?
South Side.
Now, what did you see growing up that caused you to believe that what you were looking at Crawford Long were signs of gang activity?
It was the same standard. Kids would wear like red bandanas or clothing of red, some article on them with red. Usually the red bandana, we called it flagging. Show people who you represented. At that time, once I received that information, I notified the gang unit.
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to object to relevance, lack of foundation, and this line of questioning, I don't believe is going to lay a foundation. So that's why I'm saying relevance as well.
Okay, overruled.
Thank you. You may continue. Please speak to the jury.
Okay. At that time, I notified the Atlanta Police Gang Unit, and they confirmed that that it was.
Sustained.
Without speaking specifically
Okay.
about confirmation in particular instances, more broadly speaking, when you did see things that you believe were gang activity, did you notify the gang unit?
Yes, I did, ma'am.
Why did you do that?
Just to alert them and to get more information for myself.
In talking with the kids at Crawford Long Middle School, did they confide in you about their involvement in, for instance, groups like Red Cartel? I'm not asking what they said.
Sustained.
Okay. Without speaking specifically about what they said, what types of things beyond what you've already testified about did you gather from the students that allowed you to help them navigate?
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
How often did you talk with students' parents?
Usually when they come to pick up the kids or student got in trouble.
And when you saw things that concerned you that you alerted the gang unit about, did you ever talk to the students' parents about those same things?
Overruled.
You may tell the jury.
The parents that were receptive of listening, there were some that wanted to hear, and there were some that didn't want to hear.
Did you ever speak with groups of students, or was it just individual ones about trying to stay out of or trying to avoid particular pitfalls? Your Honor, I am.
Overruled.
You can continue.
Yes, I would talk to them in a group or talk to them individually.
And were the subjects of the conversation always how to stay out of trouble?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you share with the students the information that you had from growing up or other sources about gang activity?
Sustained.
In what ways, beyond talking to the students, did you attempt to keep students from being involved in gangs?
Sustained.
Did the information that you were able to gather from the students in any way inform your investigations and ability to get information about criminal investigations later on as a detective?
Yes, ma'am.
How?
I developed rapport with several of the kids. Trust was formed, and they would, if they see me out on the scene, anywhere near that, they'll come to me next day in school and say, "Hey, officer."
Generally speaking,
Yes.
they would come to you and would they offer you information?
Yes, ma'am.
Other than Quindarius Zachary, were you familiar with any other persons that, through your investigation in this case, that you came in contact with?
Yes, ma'am.
Who were you familiar with during your time as a school resource officer?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to object under 404A.
What's your response?
Your Honor, I'm not certain what exactly the.
Maybe tailor your question.
Okay. What are the persons did you know during your time as a school resource officer that you also interacted with or taught or gained knowledge about during this case?
Same objection, Your Honor.
Do you understand the objection? Can you tailor your?
Did you know any other Trontavia Stevens? Did you know Trontavia Stevens?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What age did you learn about or did you meet Trontavia Stevens?
Age 11.
Was he a student as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Was he a student at Crawford Long Middle School?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know Shannon Stillwell as a young person?
No, I did not know Shannon Stillwell.
Did you know Diamante Kendricks?
I knew of him. I never had any interaction with him.
Did you know of him as a young child?
Yes, I think as he was getting to high school, yes.
What about Quentin Porter? Did you know of him?
Yes, ma'am.
And was he a young child or was he an older person when you got to know him or knew of him?
I believe I met him when he was in 7th or 8th grade.
Okay. Of the people that you've named so far that you met, did you interact with them in the same way that you did with Quindarius Zachary, or did they not talk with you as much?
They talked with me, but that was about it. They talked, but they never.
Okay. All right. What year was it that you were promoted to a homicide detective?
2004.
And during your time as a homicide detective, have you been recognized or given any special awards for your work as a homicide detective?
Yes, ma'am.
Objection, Your Honor, relevance.
Sustained.
Would you tell the jury how many homicides you've investigated during your time as a homicide detective?
Close to over, maybe as lead and assistant, probably close to 300, maybe more than that.
Now, were all of these within the city of Atlanta, or did you ever have an occasion to interact with or investigate crimes that were outside the city of Atlanta but connected with crimes that you were investigating in the city of Atlanta?
Yes, part of Atlanta is also in DeKalb County, so I worked some cases. I was Atlanta, DeKalb County, and also Atlanta, Fulton County.
Would you describe for the jury some of the training that you received as a homicide detective that allowed you to perform your duties that was different than the training you received as a patrol officer or a burglary detective?
Yes, interviews and interrogations, reading crime scenes, logging things, crime scene processing.
And as a homicide detective, were you involved in investigations that related to purported gang activity?
I'll repeat that again, ma'am.
As a homicide detective, did your investigations ever involve gang activity, the
Yes.
homicide investigation?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, did you share information with other law enforcement officers as it related to gang-related homicide?
Yes, ma'am.
And how, if ever you were trained to recognize gang activity while you were performing your investigations, what kind of training have you received?
It was the processing of the scene, doing thorough background checks on the victim.
Hold on, we're gonna pause on that for a second because I just got the unsealed documents. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I have the unsealed indictment. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it, honey, because this is all nefarious. So we can see exactly what's going on here. Hold on, beloveds. Hold on 1 second. Hold on, I'm fixing my title real quick, beloveds. All right. Give me just another second. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Let's have a word from my sponsor while I'm getting this cued. Okay, here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so with that all being said, you can purchase your 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com, go to Lisa Crafts, and also at Walmart.com. Okay, so let's get into it because I just got that paperwork. All right, here we go. Let me minimize all this stuff. Okay. Now let's get into it. I'm about to share my screen so you all can see this. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Remember, it doesn't cost you a single thing. Okay. All right. Now here's what it says. United States of America versus Sean Combs, aka Puff Diddy, aka P. Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love, defendant. So, grand jury charges. Okay, here's the overview. For decades, Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love, the defendant abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka we know all of his aliases. The defendant operated his business headquartered at various times in Manhattan and Los Angeles under a variety of United States-based corporate entities, including Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, and Combs Global, collectively the Combs Business. Corporate entities in the Combs business included, amongst other things, record labels, a recording studio, an apparel line, an alcoholic spirits business, a marketing agency, and a television network and media company. Now, at all times relevant to this indictment, Sean Combs and all of the aliases he goes by, the defendant engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse toward women and other individuals. This abuse was at all times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. As part of his pattern of abuse, Combs manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activity with male commercial sex workers. At times, Combs and others acting in his direction or at his direction made arrangements for women and commercial sex workers to fly to Combs' location. Combs ensured participation from the women by, among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics to them, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same, and using intimidation and violence. Physical abuse by Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, whoever the defendant was recurrent and widely known. On numerous occasions from at least in or about 2009 and continuing for years, Combs assaulted women by, among other things, striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at, and kicking them. These assaults were at times witnessed by others and included one instance at a Los Angeles hotel in or around March of 2016, which was captured on video and later publicly reported, where Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a woman as she was attempting to leave. When a member of the hotel security staff intervened, Combs attempted to bribe the staff members to ensure silence. Now, I want you all to pay attention because do you not remember? You should remember that when I reported on this, you know, the video about Cassie, if you remember, I told you all that this would likely be used as evidence against him, but the only way they would be able to use that video as evidence against him and mention it in court would be if they could tie it to other things that he's been accused of, other allegations that have been levied and waged against him in these current lawsuits. And here's how they connected it. Pay attention. They connected it because it is the same incident that Cassie mentioned in her lawsuit. Okay, she mentioned it in her lawsuit at the end of the day. And also, it goes to speak to how Diddy was controlling, intimidating, and how he beat people and put hands on people. This goes to verify, basically to solidify the things that people have said in the way of him assaulting them physically, okay, punching, kicking, and other things, because Cassie wasn't the only one who made those allegations. So that's why they were able to bring that in as evidence. Now, Combs' violence was also not limited to these women. It extended to his employees, witnesses to his abuse and others. Okay, so even witnesses to his abuse could get the smoke, is all they're saying. Now, Sean Combs, the defendant, used the Combs business, including certain employees, to carry out, facilitate, and to cover up his abuse and commercial sex. Those employees, including security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors and other close associates, acted as Combs intermediaries, and their conduct was facilitated and assisted by Combs. Combs is out of control by Combs's control of the Combs business. Okay, so he used the power that he got from his business entities and all of that to leverage his authority. Now, from at least in or about 2008 through on or about the date of the filing of this indictment, Sean Combs, the defendant, and others, known and unknown, were members and associates of a criminal organization, the Combs Enterprise, or the Enterprise. Members and associates of the Combs Enterprise engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other activities, sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Honey, they got Diddy dead to rights. Please pay attention. Now, the Combs Enterprise, including its leadership, its members, and its associates, constituted an enterprise as defined by Title 18 United States Code Section 1961, Section 4, that is a group of individuals associated. In fact, although not a legal entity, the Combs Enterprise consisted of Sean Combs, all of his aliases, entities with Combs business, including but not limited to Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, and Combs' Global, individuals employed by and associated with the Combs business, and others known and unknown. Now, the Combs Enterprise constituted an ongoing organization whose members functioned as a continuing unit for a common purpose of achieving the objectives of the Combs Enterprise. The Combs Enterprise was engaged in and its activities affected interstate and foreign commerce. The Combs Enterprise operated in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere. Now, at all times relevant to this indictment, Sean Combs, the defendant, was the leader of the Combs Enterprise. Ooh, honey, they got Diddy like a whole mafia boss, okay? Do you all hear this? Diddy he's going down just like John Gotti. Please pay attention. Now, Sean Combs The defendant and others known and unknown participated in unlawful and other activities related to the conduct of the Combs Enterprises affairs. These individuals included certain Combs business employees, such as members of Combs' security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors, as well as other close associates of Combs. Now, I want you to pay attention because when they say both known and unknown, they're basically covering all of the tracks, covering all bases. Because even if you participated in this and your information or the part or role that you played has not been uncovered as of yet, they are still including those people, the unknown. Okay? So, with that all being said, the purposes of the Combs enterprise included the following: operating a global business in a media, entertainment, and lifestyle industries, including, among other things, record labels, a recording studio, an apparel line, an alcoholic spirits business, a marketing agency, and a television network and media company, preserving, protecting, promoting, and enhancing the power, reputation, and brand of Sean Combs, the defendant, as a musician, entrepreneur, and figure in the entertainment industry. That was basically all a cover, is what they're saying. Now, enriching members and associates of the enterprise, including its leader, Combs, and in particular, those who demonstrated loyalty to Combs and willingness to conceal his crimes. Preserving, protecting, promoting, and enhancing the power of Combs' enterprise, including the power of its leader, Combs, through violence, use of firearms, threats of violence, coercion, and verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. Fulfilling the personal desires of Combs, particularly those related to Combs' sexual gratification, including through the exploitation of women and the use of commercial sex workers, enabling Combs and other members and associates of the Combs enterprise to engage in unlawful acts of violence, including sexual violence, sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticements to engage in prostitution, narcotics distribution, and other crimes, and concealing the commission of such acts. Securing absolute loyalty from members of the Combs enterprise, including through acts of violence and threats, and protecting the Combs enterprise and its members and associates, including Combs, from detection and prosecution by law enforcement authorities through acts of intimidation, manipulation, bribery, and threats of retaliation against individuals who witnessed the crimes committed by members and associates of the enterprise. Means and methods of the enterprise. Now, among the means and methods by which Sean Combs, the defendant, and other members and associates of the Combs enterprise conducted and participated in the conduct of these affairs of the Combs enterprise included the following. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Now, this is all crazy. Are you all following along? Please pay attention. This is all nefarious. Okay, so including the following: Combs and other members and associates of the Combs enterprise wielded the power and prestige of Combs' role at the Combs business to intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims into Combs' orbit, often under the pretense of a romantic relationship. That would include Young Miami, no less. Combs then used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sex acts with male commercial sex workers that Combs referred to as, among other things, freak offs. Freak offs were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, master, you know what it on. Okay, master, like, excuse me, when you go to go fishing, you bait the hook. Put those two together. Okay, said he did that during and often electronically recorded. Now, in arranging these freak-offs, Combs, with the assistance of members and associates of the Combs enterprise, transported and caused to be transported commercial sex workers across state lines and internationally. See, they're introducing this because that is the trafficking right there. Okay, that is the trafficking across state lines and internationally. That's trafficking. Now, freak offs occurred regularly, sometimes lasted multiple days, and often involved multiple commercial sex workers. During freak-offs, Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances to victims, in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant. Sometimes, unbeknownst to the victims, Combs kept videos he filmed of victims engaging in sex acts with commercial sex workers. After freak-offs, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and the drug use. Honey, this is all nefarious. Now, members and associates of the Combs enterprise, including high-ranking supervisors, security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and other Combs business employees, facilitated the freak-offs by, among other things, booking hotel rooms for the freak-offs, stocking the hotel rooms in advance with the required freak-off supplies, not freak-off supplies, ooh, this is all heinous, including controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, wow, extra linens, and lighting. Okay, cleaning the hotel rooms after the freak-offs to try to mitigate room damage, ranging from travel for victims, commercial sex workers, and Combs to and from freak-offs, resupplying Combs with requested supplies, delivering large sums of cash to Combs to pay the commercial sex workers, and scheduling the delivery of IV fluids. In or about March of 2024, during searches of Combs' residences in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California, law enforcement seized various freak-off supplies, including narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Honey, what in the world did Diddy have going on? Do you all hear this? Not 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant, honey. Did I talk about honey? Diddy was getting greased up. This is all sick. Oh, honey, I am trying so hard not to gag. Honey, I am trying so hard not to gag, honey, not freak off supplies. But let me continue because this is all crazy. Now, Combs subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse to cause the victims to engage in freak-offs. Combs maintained control over his victims through, among other things, physical violence, promises of career opportunities, granting and threatening to withhold financial support, and by other coercive means, including tracking their whereabouts, dictating the victim's appearance, monitoring their medical records, controlling their housing, and supplying them with controlled substances. During separate from freak-offs, Combs, amongst other things, hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims at times by their hair. These assaults were resulted in injuries that took days or weeks to even heal. Honey, this is all so crazy. Combs also threatened victims' careers and livelihoods, including if they resisted participating in freak-offs. Victims believed they could not refuse Combs' demands without risking their financial or job security or without repercussions in the form of physical or emotional abuse. Combs also used the sensitive, embarrassing, and incriminating recordings that he made during freak-offs as collateral to ensure the continued obedience and silence of his victims. Honey, didn't I tell y'all? And this is why Diddy's up there bartering for his freedom, honey, because he knows that he's got the goods on so many people. Now, members and associates of the Combs enterprise, including Combs' security personnel, at times carried firearms. On more than one occasion, Combs himself carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten others, including victims and witnesses to his abuse. In or about March of 2024, during searches of Combs' residences in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California, law enforcement seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers, as well as a drum magazine. Honey, he had removed the serial numbers from these AR-15s. Now, members and associates of the Combs enterprise enabled Combs' control over victims by following his directions regarding financial payments to victims, advancing or suppressing the victim's career opportunities, and acquiring the controlled substances Combs used to keep the victims compliant. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise at times witnessed Combs' violence towards the victims or victims' injuries caused by Combs Combs without intervening. Now, instead, members and associates of the Combs enterprise helped to conceal the violence and abuse by, amongst other things, assisting Combs in monitoring and preventing victims from leaving locations such as hotels or Combs' residences. These occasions included instances in which a victim was required to remain in hiding, sometimes for several days at a time, to recover from injuries that Combs inflicted without being publicly observed. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise also assisted Combs in locating and contacting victims who attempted to flee his abuse. Now, when employees witness his abuse or others threaten Combs' authority or reputation, Combs and members and associates of the enterprise engaged in acts of violence, threats of financial and reputational harm, and verbal abuse. These acts of violence included kidnapping and arson. Okay, now in addition, on multiple occasions, Combs threw both objects and people, as well as hit, dragged, choked, and shoved others. When Combs' authority or reputation was threatened by the possibility of negative publicity or legal or law enforcement action against him, including in or about 2023, following public allegations of Combs' crimes, Combs and members and associates of the enterprise pressured witnesses and victims, including through attempted bribery, to stay silent and not report what they had experienced or knew to law enforcement. On phone calls, Combs and other members and associates of the enterprise, among other things, provided these victims and witnesses with a false narrative of the events in an effort to conceal Combs' crimes. Combs caused these calls to be recorded on at least 2 occasions. Now, here comes the racketeering conspiracy. From at least in or about 2008 through on or about the date of the filing of this indictment in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, Sean Combs, the defendant, and others, known and unknown, being persons employed by and associated with Combs Enterprise, described in paragraphs 6 through 12 of this indictment, and enterprise engaged in and activities of which affected interstate and foreign commerce, knowingly combined, conspired, confederated, and agreed together and with each other to violate the racketeering laws of the United States, to wit, Title 18, United States Code, Section 1962, Section C, that is, to conduct and participate directly and indirectly in the conduct of the affairs of the Combs Enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity, as that term is defined in Title 18, United States Code, Section 1961, Section 1, and 1961, Section 5, consisting of A, multiple acts involving kidnapping chargeable under the following provisions of state law: California Penal Code Statute 207, kidnapping; California Penal Code Statute 21A 664, attempt; California Penal Code Statute 31, aiding and abetting; and California Penal Code Statute 182, conspiracy. Multiple acts involving arson chargeable under the following provisions of state law: California Penal Code Statute 451, arson; California Penal Code Statutes 21A and 664, attempt; California Penal Code Statute 31, aiding and abetting; and California Penal Code Statute 182, conspiracy. Multiple acts involving bribery chargeable under the following provisions of state law: California Penal Code Statute 137A, bribery of a witness; California Penal Code Statutes 21A 664, attempts; California Penal Code Statute 31, aiding and abetting; and California Penal Code Statute 182, conspiracy. Multiple acts indetectable under Title 18 under States Code Section 1512, relating to tampering with a witness, victim, or an informant. So Diddy was out here trying to bribe witnesses, trying to shut people up, trying to hush people up after these allegations came out, at least the first ones, allegedly. Multiple acts indictable. I'm sorry, I think I said indetectable. Multiple acts indictable under Title 18, United States Code sections 1589 and 2 relating to forced labor. Okay, there's more human trafficking right there because forced labor is an aspect of white slavery, also known as human trafficking. Now, multiple acts indictable under Title 18, United States Code sections 1591 and 2 relating to sex trafficking. Multiple acts indictable under Title 18, United States Code sections 2421 and 2422 and 2 relating to transportation and inducement to travel for purposes of prostitution and other legal sexual activities, and multiple offenses involving the possession with intent to distribute or distribution of narcotics and controlled substances, including cocaine, oxycodone, alpha-salam, 3,4 meth, bromo, dithoxyphenollamine, gamma hydroxybutyric acid, and ketamine in violation of Title 21, United States Code sections. I'm not even going to list all of that. Aiding, abetting, and willfully causing. It was a part of the conspiracy that Sean Combs, the defendant, agreed that a conspirator would commit at least 2 acts of racketeering activity in the conduct of the affairs of the Combs enterprise. Wait a minute. Was that the initiation process? Was that the initiation process so he would know or ensure that they wouldn't snitch on him or expose anything? Let me read that again. It was a part of the conspiracy that Sean Combs, the defendant, agreed that a conspirator would commit at least 2 acts of racketeering activity in the conduct of the affairs of the Combs enterprise. So he was basically, this is how he was testing people. Okay, this is how he was testing people. He was allegedly making people commit at least 2 acts of racketeering so they couldn't snitch, so they would be implicated themselves. The best way to keep them quiet. No surprise there. Because, like I said, that's one of the reasons that Lil Rodney, in my opinion, pled the fifth in his filings and said there were some things that he did not feel comfortable discussing. And he pled the fifth. And I told you then that was likely because he and Cassie as well likely had to participate in some criminal activities, not due to their own choosing, but because Diddy threatened, intimidated, coerced, or pressured them into doing so, in my opinion. I told you guys. Now, notice of special sentencing factor. So from at least in or about 2009 up to and including in or about 2018 in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, as part of his agreement to conduct and participate in the conduct of the affairs of the Combs enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity, Sean Combs, the defendant, agreed to in and affecting interstate and foreign commerce, knowingly recruit, entice, harbor, transport, provide, obtain, advertise, maintain, patronize, and solicit by any means a person knowing and in reckless disregard of the fact that that means of force, threats of force, fraud, and coercion as described in Title 18 under States Code Section 159, Section E, 2, and any combination of such means would be used to cause the person to engage in a commercial sex act in violation of Title 18 United States Code Section 159, Section A and 1 and B and 1. So Title 18, United States Code Section 1962D. Count 2, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Okay, victim 1. Now, the grand jury further charges from at least in or about 2009 up to and including in or about 2018 in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere. Sean Combs, the defendant, in and affecting interstate and foreign commerce, knowingly recruited, enticed, harbored, transported, provided, obtained, advertised, maintained, patronized, and solicited by any means a person knowing in reckless disregard of the fact that means of force, threats of force, fraud, and coercion as described in Title 18, the United States Code, Section 1591, Sections E and 2, and any combination of such means would be used to cause the person to engage in a commercial SEX act and attempted, aided, and abetted, and willfully caused the same, to wit, Combs recruited, enticed, harbored, transported, and maintained a person, victim one, and attempted, aided, and abetted, and willfully caused victim one to engage in commercial SEX acts knowing in and in reckless disregard of the fact that victim one was engaging in commercial SEX acts as a result of force, fraud, and coercion. Victim one is likely Cassie. Victim one is likely Cassie, and I already told you all that when that video of him beating her came out, that his lawyers likely leaked it, not the feds, but because the feds don't just leak information like that, especially some sort of evidence that tangible, but that her lawyers likely leaked it so that this would show how she was threatened, beaten, coerced, and anything that she engaged in that was unethical, immoral, or criminal is likely because she was forced to do so. That's what the videotape would show to a logical minded person, that likely she was forced to do so out of fear for her own safety, because look at how he brutally beat her so viciously in that hotel video. Now, count three. Lights up, everyone, please like and share. Transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, the grand jury further charges from at least or in or about 2009 up to and including in or about 2024, the Southern District of New York and elsewhere. Sean Combs, the defendant, knowingly transported an individual in interstate and foreign commerce with intent that the individual engage in prostitution and attempted, aided, and abetted, and willfully caused the same, to wit, Combs transported, aided, and abetted, and willfully caused the transportation of female victims and commercial SEX workers in interstate and foreign commerce on multiple occasions with the intent that they engage in prostitution. Forfeiture allegations. As a result of committing the offense alleged in count one of this indictment, Sean Combs, the defendant, shall forfeit to the United States, pursuant to Title 18, United States Code, Section 1963, any and all interest the defendant acquired or maintained in violation of Title 18, United States Code, Section 1962, any and all interest in, securities of, claims against, and property or contractual rights of any kind affording a source of influence over the enterprise named and described herein, which the defendant established, operated, controlled, conducted, and participated in the conduct of in violation of Title 18 United States Code Section 1962, and any and all property constituted and derived from proceeds obtained directly and indirectly said offense, including but not limited to a sum of money in United States currency representing the amount of proceeds traceable to the commission of said offense. Now, I want you all to pay attention, because this right here, what they're showing is the trafficking, they're showing the money laundering, they're showing the funneling of the illegal substances through the industry. They're showing that this was a whole criminal enterprise and that Diddy made the bulk of his money through illegal, ill-gotten gains. With that all being said, they can absolutely seize every asset and every dime that he has. Asset forfeiture. Lights up, everyone, please like and share. This is all bad for Diddy. Can't say that it wasn't well deserved. Now goes on to say, in all person property. Okay, so the defendant shall forfeit to the United States. That means he got to give up all his property. I want y'all to pay attention. They got him. Okay. The defendant shall forfeit to the United States pursuant to Title 18, United States Code Section 1594, and any and all property, real and personal, involved in, used, or intended to be used to commit or facilitate the commission of said offense, and any and all property traceable to such property, any and all property, real and personal, constituted or derived from proceeds obtained directly or indirectly as a result of said offense, including but not limited to a sum of money in United States currency representing the amount of property involved in said offense and proceeds traceable to the commission of said offense. So the money that can be tracked, any assets that he owns, money or whatever that can be tracked to illegal activity is not going to be his. He has to give it all up. Now, as a result of committing the offense alleged in count 3 of this indictment, Sean Combs, the defendant, shall forfeit to the United States pursuant to Title 18, United States Code Section 2428, any and all property, real and personal, constituted or derived from proceeds obtained directly or indirectly as a result of said offense, and any and all property, real or personal, that was used or intended to be used to commit or facilitate the commission of said offense. Title 18, United States Code Section 981, Sections A, 1, and C, and Title 28, United States Code Section 2461. Any and all property, real and personal, that constitutes or is derived from proceeds traceable to the commission of said offense, including but not limited to a sum of money in United States currency representing the amount of proceeds traceable to the commission of said offense. Substitute assets provision. Now, if any of the above described forfeitable property as a result of any act or omission of the defendant, cannot be located upon the exercise of due diligence, has been transferred or sold to or deposited with a third person, has been placed beyond the jurisdiction of the court, has been substantially diminished in value, or has been commingled with other property which cannot be subdivided without difficulty. It is the intent of the United States, pursuant to Title 18, United States Code Section 1963, M, Title 18, United States Code Section 853P, and Title 28, United States Code Section 246C, to seek forfeiture of any other property of the defendant upon the value of the above forfeitable property. Wow. It is all bad. Okay? And it is signed Damian Williams, United States Attorney. That is the 14-page criminal indictment by the grand jury for Sean Honeycombs, Diddy Bop, Nefarious. He Diddy, honey. Okay? That's the end of him. Nessa G said he caused all of this on himself. Yes, he did. Yes, he absolutely did. So what do you all have to say about all of this? This is all crazy. This is all crazy, beloveds. Okay? So they're still waiting outside the courthouse, apparently. Hold on, let me pull up something real quick. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. This is just all so bad for Diddy. I mean, he was just hours ago. Think about it, people. He was just hours ago hanging out at Central Park, living his life like it was golden. Remnant of Hip Hop Past says he should never have sued the Diageo liquor company. Exactly. That, sadly for him, was his undoing. Okay? That was his undoing. Look at this picture of him again, y'all. Look at him again. He was at the park just having a good old time, looking over his shoulder nonetheless, because he was clearly concerned. He had several concerns. Please pay attention. With that all being said, let's take a stroll down memory lane while we wait, as we watch for them waiting outside the courthouse. So, with that all being said, hold on, I'm gonna go to my. Ooh, this is all crazy. Sheba Pisces says, "Where you at, Lori Gibson?" Okay, where is Lori Ann Gibson, honey? She's somewhere having a glass of champagne, I would imagine. The Diddy is getting his just desserts. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, this is all crazy. So, like I said, while we're waiting, uh, as we watch for them to talk outside the court, let's just reminisce on some of the past Diddy information that we gathered. I mean, it's such a long list. Good Lord, where does it end? How many videos did I do on Diddy? Honey, I must have dedicated my life to bringing Diddy down. I mean, please pay attention. Look at all these darn videos. Whew, I don't even know where to stop. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Honey, it is just so many. It's no way I can get through all of these. It is no way. So let's just start with this one here. Hold on.
Let's talk about why Diddy really settled that lawsuit with Cassie so quickly. It wasn't his choice. He didn't have a say-so in the matter. And here's why. You see, Cassie didn't just sue Diddy, she sued his corporations, his LLCs. And so that triggered two policies, the commercial liabilities policy, as well as the directors and officers policies. And Diddy was a director because he was the CEO. Please pay attention. So the corporate insurance was like, let's go ahead and settle this and wrap this on up. Because at the end of the day, the insurance could significantly have increased. And also that could have been problematic for everyone else involved with these companies. Also, the directors and officers policies company said that basically they had a choice to not renew any of the contracts with any of the companies that Diddy was tied to if he were to remain there because of this lawsuit. And so at the end of the day, this was an organization choice, not just Diddy himself. You see, everyone else belonging to the corporation would have been impacted by this negatively. And also the corporate insurance wasn't going to have it anyway. They wouldn't even have allowed that. So no one else wanted to suffer because of Diddy's own nefariousness. So that was absolutely a genius move by Cassie's attorneys, because by doing all of this, they took away Diddy's power. They were able to control the narrative and to control him. He had no control whatsoever. And then he stepped down from revolt and he won't be able to go back. His reputation is completely destroyed. Okay, he is done. He is toast. There's no coming back from any of this. Now, if you recall, after the settlement, Cassie came out and issued a statement. And in that statement, she said, I have decided to resolve this matter amicably on terms that I have some level of control. Some level of control. Well, yeah, she absolutely does. And here's why. In the state of New York, if you settle a harassment lawsuit in less than 21 days, then there's no confidentiality agreement. You can't make the person sign an NDA. And this one was settled in less than 24 hours. Even if the person signed it not knowing that they didn't have to, well, it's void. You see, it's not even going to stand up in court. Please pay attention. So that means that even if Cassie wanted to write a tell-all book, if she wants to do a ton of interviews, no matter what she wants to do with this story, it's her story to tell, and no one can stop her from doing so. So for all of those who were hating on Cassie and saying that she was just doing this for a bag, at the end of the day, she was doing it for more than a bag. She was bringing down a giant, and she was playing chess while Diddy was playing checkers. And one of Cassie's biggest critics is Tariq Nasheed, aka Bussy Reek, as I love to call him, affectionately, of course. He was saying that Cassie just wanted a bag, acting as though she wasn't telling the truth, like she's just after money and all of that. But at the end of the day, clearly victim blaming. But you see, he has a very good reason for doing so. Isn't he friends with Diddy? Well, he was in Diddy's video with Faith Evans called All Night Long. As far as I'm concerned, Cassie earned every penny that she got from that lawsuit. Oh, and just one last thing. For any of you who may have been wondering how Diddy was able to go from being an intern to 3 years later, skipping over Andre Harrell, who was his mentor, and owning Bad Boy, well, just ask Jaguar Wright. Okay, ask her about the relationship between Diddy and Clive Davis. I have several questions. Sugar daddy, anyone? With that all being said, TikTok, this is purely satire and speculation and just for entertainment purposes. Okay, I want you all to pay attention because Diddy is beyond nefarious, okay? There is nothing you can even use to compare. Okay, I mean, you can't even compare anyone to Diddy. I mean, at the end of the day, this man has had an entire reign of terror over people for 30 plus years. Okay, 30 plus years. He got away with all of his shenanigans and didn't think that he would ever be caught, I'm sure. Okay, so let's go to another video. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Yeah, this is oh so crazy. Let me check outside the courthouse real quick. Okay, still nothing going on there. Mm, mm, mm. The likes up, everyone, please like and share. I'm reading these comments. Y'all need to sit down somewhere. Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. So when Cat Williams came out with that very explosive interview, just calling out everyone, he mentioned Diddy. Now, when he said what he said about Diddy, I got real suspicious. Was Diddy trying to set Cat up? Let's get into it.
I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Can I need to know? You here, get to know.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Come on. Because early on you was accusing me.
Notice how Cat said Diddy likes to party, and when he wants to, you have to tell him no. And he talked about someone offering him $50 million 4 times, and he had to turn it down. Now, who would offer somebody that kind of money? Well, and what kind of party was Diddy wanting him to come to? Now, I'm sure we've heard about these parties where they invite people there and then they catch them in compromising positions, doing things that would be embarrassing if other people found out. So maybe that's why he was offered $50 million 4 times, so that he would come to those parties and engage in some type of acts that they could later use to blackmail him and hold over his head, so that he would just shut up and stop talking about the things that he's already talking about and the things that he's already spoken about in the past and anything that he would likely possibly say in the future. This is just my guess, but think about it. He also mentioned Harvey Weinstein too. Okay, so yeah, I absolutely think that the money he was offered and the partying that Diddy wanted him to do involved some sort of a secret gathering, or like a sort of eyes wide shut thing, if you catch what I'm saying. And then they could likely just get him to be quiet. He wouldn't be able to say anything because, hey, if you tell on us, if you try exposing anything that we're up to, well, we'll just drop the video footage and let everyone know what you did. Good way to keep someone quiet, don't you think? Please pay attention. Okay, absolutely. Diddy thought he was so slick and sly, honey. He was definitely trying to set Cat up, okay, as far as I'm concerned. First of all, let's not forget that Cat said that Diddy offered him a drink. What was in that drink, okay? He probably thought he was going to get Cat to sip on that drink, honey, pass out, and then have something heinous happen, and so he can blackmail him like all the rest, okay? Absolutely nefarious, okay? Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Like I said, it's so much information on Diddy. I mean, I didn't even realize that I had done this many videos on him. Hold on. Hold on. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Let's go to this one. Hold on. Ah. Okay, watch your comments in my chat. They will be deleted. Did somebody talk about Kabami has a cucumber? Come here with that foolishness. Diddy has filed a defense against the notion that he and 2 others SA'd a 17-year-old in 2003. So let's get into it. In paperwork filed on Tuesday, Diddy completely denied the allegations against him from the unnamed plaintiff. He says that he never participated in, witnessed, or was presently aware of any misconduct, whether SE-actual or otherwise, as it pertains to the plaintiff. and there was no circumstances where he was involved in any of this whatsoever. Please pay attention. His co-defendant Harpier filed his own response to the lawsuit, stating that he never participated in the SAing of the victim, nor did he witness anyone else doing so. Diddy's also contesting the photograph of the alleged unnamed victim sitting in his lap. He disputes the context, genuineness, and/or accuracy of the photograph. He's also complaining about the 2 decades-old gap between the alleged incident and when the allegations were brought forth. And he also says that the New York legislation that allowed for this lawsuit to be filed is in violation of his constitutional rights. Please pay attention. Diddy says that some or all of the evidence may have been available if the action had been properly commenced. But the fact that it's taken 2 decades plus, well, he feels that some of the evidence will not be available because it may have been lost or compromised. Diddy cites all of these reasons as grounds for the lawsuit to be dismissed. That's what he's requesting. He wants them to just dismiss the lawsuit. Well, it's not going to happen. And another thing is, as far as the photo being authentic or not, they have forensic imagery experts for that. Please pay attention. Floyd Mayweather says that he refuses to condemn Diddy because, after all, he's still a block man. And so he's not going to kick him while he's down. You mean the way he kicked Cassie when she was down? At the end of the day, when someone is full of nefariousness such as Diddy, and he has numerous of people making these allegations against him, and we've seen a history of patterns of nefarious behavior, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what race or ethnic group you belong to. You see, devils should always be called out, no matter who they are. Please pay attention. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. Diddy has filed a Okay, so with that all being said, Floyd Mayweather has egg on his face right about now. Okay, trying to defend Diddy? Absolutely not going to be able to do it. Okay, absolutely not going to be able to do it. Young Miami exposes Diddy's alleged SEX worker, and Stevie J calls the lawsuit bogus. Okay, let's go to this one. Miss Mississippi said, do you think Diddy has given copies of the tapes to other people? Yes, honey, yes. I said this yesterday. I said that Diddy has likely given copies to each of his attorneys. Now, he has some of the footage in the clouds. I'm sure he has some of it stashed somewhere, in some hidden place. But also, yes, absolutely, he's given copies to all of his attorneys, I'm sure. So if anybody's thinking about anything, honey, they better think twice because Diddy has all the receipts. Okay, that's why Diddy's not going to prison. Diddy's indicted, but yeah, he's not even going to prison. And if he does, he'll turn up like Jeffrey Epstein. Several people have found themselves caught up in Diddy's mess with the filing of this new lawsuit. One of them is Young Miami, and another is Stevie J. Let's get into it. Now, in the lawsuit, Rodney Jones accuses Young Miami's cousin of being one of the people who basically assaulted him, saying that she tried to force herself on him and at the behest of Diddy, and that she wanted him to have relations so that Diddy could sit back and watch. This is all so nefarious. Of course, he said he rejected the unwanted advances, but she just wouldn't stop. He also goes on to say that Miami is one of Diddy's paid SEX workers. Please pay attention. Now, you may remember some of the comments that Young Miami has made regarding Diddy and their relationship prior to all of this salacious information being exposed.
I can't say it. You got to. It says take a shower. If you like golden showers, I do. Golden showers? You like it? I just like it. It's fun. Yeah, like, when you drunk and you just...
And I'm sure we all remember when she said this.
I'm gonna give it to you honest. I ain't trying to be lying, ducking, hiding, hurting nobody's feelings. None of that.
I feel like you single when we go together.
You single when we go together.
So how would you feel about me telling people that I'm single because we go together? I'm not laughing.
Hold on.
It ain't no hold on.
We go together now?
Real bad.
Whatever you say.
I like that.
Now, just imagine saying something like that publicly and then only to be relegated to the status of an SEX worker. But I digress. And of course, DJ Academics, who's no fan of Young Miami's, couldn't wait to throw in his 2 cents, blaming her for Diddy's demise and saying that basically this is all because she's been running her mouth. And now Diddy has this new lawsuit saying that she knows that Diddy told her to lay low. He also went on to call her the new Ghislaine Maxwell of freak-offs and compared her and Diddy to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine. Please pay attention. Also in the lawsuit, Mr. Jones says that there was a video that he was shown by P. Diddy that showed Stevie J having relations with a man. And there was a screenshot included in the lawsuit, but Stevie J says that isn't him. And in fact, an adult film star came out and said that it was him. Adult star D'Angelo Knockout Marquise says that that's him and that they're not going to use him to take down Stevie J. It says it's actually him that's in the photo. But here's the thing that makes it just a little bit suspicious. Lil Rod claimed that Diddy was aware that he looked up to and idolized Stevie J, who produced several hits for Biggie and other artists as part of the Bad Boy production team. Rod alleged that Diddy used the video in an attempt to solicit him into engaging in certain acts, claiming that the videos were a way to ease his anxiety about tasting the rainbow. Moreover, Rod said Diddy told him, this is normal, okay? This is a normal practice in the music industry. Look, even Stevie J is doing it. Please pay attention. So Mr. Jones alleging that Diddy actually told him that was Stevie J in the video. And also, if this man looked up to and idolized Stevie J so much, don't you think he would have known whether or not he was looking at Stevie J in that video that he was allegedly forced to watch? You know, I just have several questions. But hey, what do I know? I mean, some people will say anything if you give them a few coins, is all I'm saying. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah. Okay, so Young Miami is just such an idiot. She's such an idiot sitting there talking about they go together when clearly he's denying her. Okay, just making herself look so thirsty, honey, at the end of the day. But anyway. Now, let's go to this one. Breaking news on Diddy and Lil Rod's suit and more shocking info on Diddy and Aaron Hall's accuser. Y'all, it's so much receipts on Diddy. I had forgotten about some of this stuff, to be honest with you. Okay, I forgot about even doing some of this stuff. Breaking news has just come in pertaining to the lawsuit that Rodney Jones, aka Lil Rod, filed against Diddy. So let's get into it. There was false information put out basically saying that Diddy and Lil Rod had come to some sort of settlement agreement. Well, this was all due to a clerical error, which incorrectly listed that the two had come to an agreement. Now, this is what was mistakenly printed, okay? It says minute entry for proceedings held before Magistrate Judge Andrew E. Krause. Settlement conference held on March 13, 2024. Parties appeared by video. Settlement reached. Defendants will provide an initial draft of a proposed settlement agreement by March 20th of 2024. Plaintiffs will file the proposed infant compromise order with Judge Carvers by April the 19th of 2024. Okay, this was all a clerical error. Like I said, this is not even true. Now, the two judges mentioned didn't even have anything to do with the case between Lil Rod and Diddy. Okay, the judge presiding over that case is Judge J. Paul Otkin. So they had the wrong information and the wrong judges. Now, I don't know how that error got in there, but clearly it's made. The person who did it is probably fired. Now that information has been pulled from the public record. Okay, so please pay attention. And here's another tidbit of information you might be interested in. Okay, so I took the time out to look over the legal documents filed by the woman named Liza Gardner, who was formerly only listed as Jane Doe, the one who filed the suit against Aaron Hall and Diddy for what happened. And we know that now she's come out and said that she was only 16 when these things occurred. Well, the other interesting things about these documents is it says that she's represented by the same attorney as Rodney Jones, and that's Tyrone A. Blackburn, Esquire. But also, it says Liza Gardner is a Caucasian female and a United States citizen. Please let that sizzle in your spirit for a moment. Take a breather and let that sink in. Because what that says to me is Diddy is absolutely, unequivocally, beyond a shadow of a doubt, done. Okay? Please pay attention. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. Breaking news has just come in. Okay, so this is all real crazy. At the end of the day, it's so much dirt on Diddy. Like, we can't even keep track of it all. We can't even keep track of it all. Okay, then you have him and Aaron Hall. Then we have his drug mule being arrested on the same day as the raids carried out. We already know that he was going to snitch. Okay, but hold on. Now, let's go to this right here. When Diddy met up with that prison coach. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. Here's some information that I'm surprised that nobody seemed to catch on to. So days ago,
Diddy was in a restaurant where he met up with social media influencer Wes Watson. Now, nobody caught on or thought about as to why he just conveniently met up with this man, but let's get into it.
Down here at Pura Vida by my pad, run into the man right here. What's up? Miami's like that. It's a movie.
Now, if you don't know who Wes Watson is, he's actually a social media influencer, an inspirational speaker, a personal trainer, and also an ex-con who spent 10 years in the California penal system. Please pay attention. Watson was convicted of robbery, burglary, assault, and battery July the 28th of 2010. He spent this time in prison, and once he got out, he became a millionaire within 18 months. Please pay attention. Along with being touted as an inspirational speaker and a personal trainer, he's also someone who prepares people to go to prison. Okay, he talks about it and gives people advice, tells you what you should and shouldn't do and all those things. And so I don't think it was a chance encounter when he bumped into Diddy at that restaurant. Okay, please pay attention.
The three things you don't do in the California prison system, I'm going to tell you. You don't roll in with bad paperwork. We've gone over it before. You can't show up with bad charges. You can't show up with charges against children. You can't show up with charges. The thing that people don't realize is that if you get caught even pissing in public, it's an indecent exposure act, and that will show on your paperwork as a bad crime. That will you act. It's like you're some dude showing your people. We don't play that shit. So we're going to have a...
Notice the things that Wes mentioned, saying that you shouldn't have those things on your paperwork when you get to prison because those things are considered bad crimes and they can get you whacked. At the end of the day, Diddy has some of those allegations against him. Now, of course, he hasn't been indicted and he said that he's not guilty, hasn't done any of these things. But if Diddy were to get indicted and be found guilty of any of those things, well, we already know how that would play out if he landed in prison. And so Wes could likely be talking to Diddy and giving him advice about the do's and don'ts. And I'm sure he's getting paid very nicely to do so. I mean, after all, how do you think he became a millionaire in just 18 months? Please pay attention. Okay. Sitting out here meeting with prison coaches and all of that. Oh, Diddy. Okay, now let's go to some of the later claims. Footage of Diddy and Cassie was released because the elite are now about to take him all the way down. Let's go to this video. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. TC Dan said this is all very sad. Yep, it is for the victims, not for Diddy. It's good for him. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. The video footage that was released today by CNN showing Diddy just attacking Cassie at the hotel, that was very triggering to watch. Though I'm sure we've all heard about the violence that he's engaged in, specifically with women, it was still different to witness it with your own eyes. So if it was triggering for us, I can only imagine how it was for Cassie to actually live through it. But nonetheless, that was the same incident that was mentioned in her lawsuit where she says that he purchased the footage for $50,000. So let's get into it. Sean Diddy Combs allegedly paid the Intercontinental Hotel $50,000 for the newly surfaced hallway footage that shows him physically assaulting his ex-girlfriend, singer Cassie, during a March 2016 altercation, according to the latter's bombshell civil lawsuit filed late last year. Please pay attention. Now, I don't know where CNN obtained that footage from, but I'm glad it was released. You see, now all the naysayers and Diddy apologists who tried to defend him and tried to paint the narrative that Cassie was just after money and basically tried to say that she wasn't telling the truth. Well, now what do they have to say? I just have to wonder. But the fact that the footage was released, the same footage that he supposedly paid $50,000 for, the fact that it was released, to me, that's saying that the elites, they have completely washed their hands of him. Okay, there's no coming back from this. He's already been demonized and vilified by most because of the allegations in the first place. But now that the proof is out there, there's no coming back. You see, this is absolutely his undoing. And in fact, I can tell you right now, I'm going to go ahead and make this prediction. Something much more nefarious is coming for Diddy. And the elite know it. With that all being said, that's why the footage has been put out. You see, the proof, the evidence has been put out so as to further demonize him in the public and to make people have no sympathy and empathy for what's about to happen to him next. I want you to pay attention because Diddy, he's really going down and it's going to be in the worst way. So please pay attention. And just looking at the violence that he inflicted upon Cassie, it really goes to show that he doesn't care for women. He does not care for women at all. I think that Diddy loves men. And I don't mean just for his simple pleasure, but I think that it's who he preferred to be in relationships with, that he's just lived his life on the down low, for his own reasons. At the end of the day, people like Diddy, they tend to despise the women in their lives because they don't really want to be there with them in the first place. They literally resent them. And I think that was very evident from what we witnessed in that video footage. Please pay attention. So far, 2024 has been a very revealing year, and we're only 5 months in. Now, in January, we had the viral Cat Williams video from Club Shay Shay, where he was calling everybody out. And then in February, we had Rodney Jones filing his lawsuit against Diddy. And I actually said that was going to happen on previous videos. I said that pretty soon, after all these women were filing allegations and lawsuits against Diddy, I said the men are going to start coming next. I'm just waiting for that to happen. And then Rodney Jones comes out and his lawsuit revealed that Diddy allegedly told him that he was the person who did the 1999 club incident, that it wasn't Shine. And then Natanya Rubin, the victim, came out and confirmed it. And then we have Drake being exposed and all of these things coming out about him. And so it's only going to get worse. And let's not forget the whole thing with Quiet on Set when Nickelodeon was called out. Yeah, the truth is really coming to light. And all of these people that think that they're hiding in the darkness on the cover of night and that their secrets are going to remain hidden, they're absolutely not. You see, all of this is going to come to surface. So please pay attention. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. Oh, so crazy. Okay. So OG Patrice, can you join the live, beloved? Can you join the live? I'm going to drop you the link in case you can join the live, OG Patrice. Honey, this is all crazy. Remnant of Hip Hop Past says Diddy been extorting folks for years. Absolutely. Stealing from them, doing all sorts of nefarious things, allegedly. Okay. Just intimidating people, making threats that absolutely came true. I mean, just all sorts of nefariousness. But do you all remember when they said he went in on Shaka Khan? Y'all remember that? Let's go to that video. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Everyone, I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. Diddy is clearly having a bad week, as I said in my last video. Now, Shaka Khan's daughter, Indira Malini Khan, left him a comment under that fake, bogus apology that he posted after we all witnessed him assaulting Cassie in the Intercontinental Hotel. So let's get into it. So apparently, Diddy disrespected the beautiful, musical, legendary icon, Shaka Khan, got all up in her face and was talking real greasy, and then his goons assaulted her son. Please pay attention. And so this is why Indira is basically saying that she's celebrating his demise. Okay, she's dancing and drinking champagne. Please pay attention. Indira posted saying, "I'm glad this is happening to you. You got in my mother's face and publicly disrespected her, yelling and screaming like a lunatic. When my little brother tried to get you out of my mother's face, your security jumped my 19-year-old brother. These may be your dark days, but I'm singing and dancing." Hold on. It looks like court's in session. Hold on. Let's go to it. Thank you. Somebody in the chat just said that they're live. Here we go.
Oh, okay. Where in New Jersey?
Hey, I'm send it over to Slack. Yeah. Now from Julia. All a mile. That was fast. Julia.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. We're going to start the Sean Combs press conference in about 2 minutes. If you have any questions about presentment, I'll come back out and we'll go over timing and give you a few updates. Thanks.
morning, everyone. My name is Damian Williams, and I'm the U.S. Attorney here in the Southern District of New York. Today, I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs, and that Combs hit, kicked, a victim in a Los Angeles hotel when the victim was attempting to flee. As alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal. In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse. The indictment also alleges other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including violence against witnesses to his abuse, kidnapping, and arson. The indictment alleges that on more than one occasion, Combs carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses. Now, Combs did not do this all on his own. As I mentioned, Combs has been charged with RICO conspiracy. He used his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get his way. Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff. The indictment alleges that those individuals facilitated the freak-offs. They booked the hotel rooms and stocked them with the supplies, including drugs, baby oil, personal lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. When the hotel rooms got damaged, they helped clean it up. They arranged for victims and commercial sex workers to travel for the freak-offs, and they delivered large quantities of cash to Combs to pay for the commercial sex workers. The indictment also alleges that they helped Combs cover up his crimes. During the March 2016 incident at the LA hotel that I mentioned earlier, a member of the hotel security staff intervened, and Combs attempted to bribe the staff member with a stack of cash to make sure that what happened was kept quiet. And as the indictment alleges, in late 2023, after public allegations were made about Combs's crimes, he and others pressured witnesses and victims to stay silent including by making phone calls to witnesses and victims and giving them a false narrative of what they had experienced. And as alleged, Combs used others to help conceal his abuse by monitoring and preventing victims from leaving a location in order to hide their injuries, or by locating and contacting a victim who had attempted to flee. As part of this investigation, in March of this year, special agents from HSI executed search warrants at Combs' residences in Miami and Los Angeles. They also executed a warrant for Combs' electronic devices. During those searches, agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs, more than 1,000 bottles altogether. Here are some of the items that we recovered during the searches. As you can see here, this is a drum magazine, large capacity, and it contains, I believe, 59 rounds. I mentioned as well that we recovered 3 AR-15s. This is a close-up shot of one of the AR-15s, and you can see right here, the serial number has been thoroughly defaced. Another picture of more ammunition and parts of 2 AR-15s right there. Now, I want to be clear about 2 things. First, this office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in sex trafficking, no matter how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be. No one should doubt our commitment on that. A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City. Today, he's been indicted and will face justice in the Southern District of New York. Second, we are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly. Anyone with information can call 1-877-4HSI-TIP. I want to express my deep appreciation for the victims and witnesses who have used their voices and helped bring this criminal conduct to light. We would not be here without them. I also want to thank the dedicated case agents on the HSI Trafficking in Person Squad in New York. They have been with us since day one and have worked tirelessly on this investigation. They will continue to be invaluable partners to us. I also want to thank the incredible agents and analysts from SDNY who have also provided tremendous assistance on this case. I'm deeply grateful for their continued work. And finally, I want to thank the outstanding career prosecutors from SDNY who are handling this case. Meredith Foster, Emily Johnson, Chrissy Slavic, Madison Smizer, and Mitzi Steiner, and their supervisors, Jamie Backleeper and Jacqueline Kelly. They are members of the Civil Rights Unit in our criminal division. We created the Civil Rights Unit when I became U.S. Attorney. I'm deeply proud of their work on this and so many other cases. I'll now take some questions.
Eric Katursky, ABC.
Damian, thanks. The indictment describes aggressive, open, violent, hedonistic abuse that you say was recurrent and widely known. Why did it take law enforcement so long to intervene? How many women were victimized by Sean Combs and how many others were involved?
Look, our investigation is ongoing. We are committed to bringing justice to everyone who's been victimized by the defendant. I can't tell you why it took so long. I think the better focus is on the fact that we are here today. And we are committed to making sure that justice is done. Next question.
Julia Ainsley, NBC.
Thank you for doing this. You said we are not done and that Combs did not do this alone. Do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
Janet Fisher, Newsday.
What's the difference between the sex trafficking and promoting travel for the purpose of prostitution?
Well, there are different crimes with different elements. I don't think we should get into the nitty-gritty of the legal discussion right now, but the sex trafficking, we believe, they're all serious offenses, but the sex trafficking conduct carries some significant penalties, and we are gratified that we were able to bring that charge.
Is one more coercive than the other?
I'm not going to be able to get into that, but you can look it up, and yes, sex trafficking, especially when it involves coercion or force, is a very serious crime, and it carries significant penalties.
Good afternoon, Darla Miles, ABC 7 New York. Thank you for this press conference and for the details. 2 questions. In context of this indictment and the information that was presented to the grand jury, are you able to clarify the number of victims? It's mentioned plural in the indictment, but can you specify the number of victims just for this particular indictment? And secondly, can you provide details about the alleged arson?
Unfortunately, I'm not able to provide either. The number of victims, you are correct. We are intentional in saying multiple. The details of the arson incident are limited to what we have in the indictment and also the detention letter that we filed, which contains more details than the indictment does at various points, but we don't have anything more beyond that. Next question.
Lynn Tran, CNN.
Are any of his accomplices or associates under investigation? And additionally, could he face any more charges?
So the investigation is ongoing. That means both as to him and to anyone else who we believe committed the crime with him. Next question.
Juliet Papa.
Hi, good morning from 1010 Wins. Any indication that some of the women or victims here were imprisoned in his residences, and did he have locations where he kept them, and were not allowed to leave? And also, he's indicted here, although there were searches and raids in LA, Miami. Why in New York?
Well, I'm biased. I'm the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York. I think that we have an outstanding track record of bringing some of the most impactful, sprawling, complex, difficult sex trafficking, human trafficking, labor trafficking, you name it. The Southern District of New York can do it, and so we're very proud of that. And so the scope and complexity of this investigation isn't something that we ran from. It's something that we embrace, and we will continue to do that. As to your question about whether he imprisoned anyone, all I can say is that, I mentioned this March 2016 incident where something was caught on video where a victim was attempting to flee, and there was violence that was associated with it.
Was that at the residence or a hotel?
That was at a hotel.
Matthew Lee, Inner City Press.
Thanks a lot. Does your office intend to seek remand, or are you reaching a bail package? And if you're willing, how would you contrast this with the R. Kelly case in EDNY in terms of the elements? Thanks.
So we will be seeking detention. We have filed a letter laying out our reasoning for seeking pretrial detention. I'm not going to be able to expand beyond what's in the letter, but it contains all of the reasoning, and it contains the law as well. There is a presumption of detention in a case like this, and we think that's warranted.
John Anise, New York Daily News.
Thank you. I was hoping to get some more detail about the searches of his residence, the guns, the cases of lubricant, and the videos. Where were they found amongst his residence? Were they all scattered around the houses in one place? So I kind of wanted to just get a better picture of how that stuff was found.
Well, look, I think that some of the details that you're seeking are in the detention letter. So, for instance, some of the AR-15s, 2 of the 3 defaced AR-15s were found in his bedroom closet in Miami, broken down into parts along with magazines with ammunition loaded in them. So some of that detail is in the detention letter. Beyond that, I'm not going to be able to get into where other items were stored.
Ben Kochman, Post.
Hey, thanks for doing this. Your office was the office that had been prosecuting Jeffrey Epstein before he died in custody. I have not read your detention memo yet. It's the first thing I'm going to do after this ends. But does the memo address, or is your office concerned with Combs's safety in custody, given what happened with Epstein?
So we are concerned with anyone's safety whenever they are detained prior to trial. It's part of our obligations to keep people safe as well. It's part of the criminal justice system. So, but I do not draw any sort of connection between Jeffrey Epstein's suicide and what may or may not happen to any other defendant while they are detained pre-trial. And of course, the decision whether to detain the defendant will be up to a judge. Our position is that pretrial detention is warranted under the law and based on the facts of this case. And I'll leave it at that.
Are some of the prosecutors on this case some of the same prosecutors that had been handling that or that worked on the Maxwell case?
So I'm not going to get into the staffing. I will say that this team, this group of AUSAs, this incredible group has been working on this case around the clock, and they've had their hands full. Next question.
Gus Rosendale, NBC News.
Good morning, sir. Combs' attorney said that his client has been cooperative with investigators. He said that this morning. I was wondering if you would have a reaction to that.
Let me just say this. I think that generally and with increasing frequency, the word cooperative or cooperating has taken on tremendous elasticity and it no longer really bears any relation to what the word means when we use it in a very specific context. So responding to lawful process and the like does not qualify as cooperation when we use that term here.
Mike Sisak, AP.
Thanks. To that end, was there any discussion of Mr. Combs surrendering? I understand he was taken into custody at a hotel in Manhattan last night, and maybe that wasn't the plan. Can you elaborate on how that came about and why that was?
I'm not going to be able to get into any sort of operational details as to how he was taken into custody and when. He is in custody right now. He will be appearing in court later today.
Was there any discussion of him surrendering, given they claim he's cooperating?
I'm not going to be able to get into law enforcement tactics or operations. Well, I can't get into the charging decision. It is very meaningful to us that weapons were possessed, as we allege in the indictment. Part of the reason why this conduct was so pervasive and harmful was because victims and others didn't necessarily feel comfortable denying him his wishes, as we allege, because of the presence of firearms. I should leave it there.
Thanks. Last question, Jacob Shamison.
Jacob Shamsian, Business Insider. Thank you. Given that he's the sole defendant in this case and that you allege he's part of a conspiracy that involves members of his companies, do you anticipate a superseding indictment that bring allegations against other members of his companies or other co-conspirators as well?
I can't take anything off the table. Anything is possible. Our investigation is very active and ongoing. And I think a lot of you who cover this office know that when we say such things, that developments are certainly foreseeable, but I cannot predict them sitting here today. All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. What part of this business empire is forfeiture?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I kind of like I needed to in the morning. This one out.
He's currently still in custody. But I want you all to pay attention to something that I noticed that's just a little odd to me. The fact that they only introduced evidence in the way of those weapons and lubricants. I'm sorry, he's holding out on a whole lot, okay? He was giving very scarce information and details. I want you all to pay attention. He was giving very scarce information and details. Now, at the end of the day, he didn't even want to talk about specifically how he was arrested at the hotel when we all know that there's body cam footage and there's hotel surveillance footage of all of this. Okay. So he was being real closed mouth. Like something's real suspicious about all of this. Okay. Now, talking about baby oils, lubricants, and guns, what about all the rest? What about those videos that they confiscated? What about the 250 cameras? Okay, what about all the video footage? How come he didn't mention any of that? I just wonder why didn't he mention any of that? But you all remember that I told you that that video footage that they confiscated had some very powerful people on it, I'm sure, and we're never going to see. It's never going to see the light of day. We're never going to hear about it. It's going to be just like with Jeffrey Epstein, when they carried all of that footage out of his house, out of his residence, and then we never heard anything else about it. We never got the full flight list or any of that. They gave us a bunch of court transcripts, okay, with a few names mentioned, but the full flight list from everybody in there that went to that island, we didn't get that information. We didn't find out what exactly was on those videos from Jeffrey Epstein, and we're going to have the same situation with Diddy. Because as I've been telling you all for months, Diddy is using the footage and the information that he has on these powerful people to barter for his freedom. Okay. He's doing this to barter for his freedom. At the end of the day, honey, Diddy's got all the receipts and evidence, and they know it. And they're being very closed mouth for a good reason. Okay. They're talking about guns and lubricants. Okay. Where's the rest? Okay. Where's the rest of the details and the information? They didn't confiscate any illegal substances out of his properties. What was in those what was in the safes that they opened? There was something tucked away in those safes, okay? And so I have a whole lot of questions. But like I told you, they're going to confiscate all of his assets, property, and money because now that he's been tied to an illegal empire, a whole racketeering organization, RICO charges. Yeah, all of this stuff's going to be confiscated by the U.S. government. Okay? Mm, mm, mm. Reggie said, we saw those Epstein tapes. Yes, we did. We saw them carrying boxes and boxes out of the residence. Okay, but nothing else was said about it. This is all crazy. Okay, I just want you all to pay attention. But here's the thing, I forgot to tell you all this. So remember the other week when Derek Lee Cordello Smith, the inmate who said that Diddy raped him back in 1997 at a party where they were having this orgy and all that, and he sued and won a $100 million lawsuit? Well, it was reported that Diddy files motion to set aside the $100 million judgment, claiming it's total BS. Diddy's fighting back against the massive $100 million default judgment leveled against him this week, claiming that he never received a copy of the lawsuit. And even if he had, the statute of limitations ran out years ago. Now, here's how you know Diddy's probably lying. Because Derek Lee Cordello Smith said in court, told the judge that Diddy had visited him in prison and offered him $2.3 million to just keep quiet. So with that all being said, how did he not know about a lawsuit that was coming? The controversial music mogul filed the emergency motion to set aside the massive judgment Thursday, saying the plaintiff, Derek Lee Cordello Smith, never served him with a lawsuit, and he didn't know he had to handle the matter until news outlets started reporting on the judgment. Really, Diddy? Was that why you showed up to visit him in court? I mean, in prison? Okay, allegedly. Now, worth noting, Diddy's lawyers aren't just trying to get the case thrown out for failing to serve him properly. They're denying all wrongdoing wholeheartedly. They say the facially implausible allegations or the factually implausible allegations are completely fabricated. I'm sorry, it does say facially. I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses. They say the facially implausible allegations are completely fabricated. So everybody's lying. Let them tell it. Now, even if the allegations were true, which again, Diddy's attorneys say they aren't, they say the statute of limitations ran out nearly 17 years ago. Now, Diddy's team also slamming the lawsuit as frivolous because they say the man who filed it is a convicted rapist who is lying about all of the allegations in the lawsuit. They also claim he has a history of filing lawsuits that courts have labeled as frivolous. Well, they have done that. I told you all that previously. But apparently the judge didn't think the one against Diddy was frivolous. Now, Cordello Smith was awarded $100 million for a judgment by a judge after Diddy failed to respond to the complaint that Cordello Smith filed in June. Cordello Smith he claimed back in 1997 that Diddy and he were having intercourse with a group of women when he felt Diddy's hand touch his behind. He claims Diddy later spiked his drink, and when he awoke, Diddy implied that he had assaulted him. Okay, so anyway, honey, Diddy said that he didn't do a darn thing, honey, and y'all can clearly miss him with it. Okay, above all that drama, said prisons have great records and video cameras. Exactly. So if he really visited this man in prison, there's proof that he did so. Okay, his name would have to be on a list. He'd have had to sign in. There's video footage and all of that. So I guess we'll see what's next. But anyway, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast, honey. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I will be back at any point today when they show the footage of Diddy making his way to court. And I don't expect that it'll be too far from now. Okay, so everyone stay tuned for updates. Likes up, everyone please like and share. Okay, thank you in advance. Each one teach one, that's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got